Hell's Kitchen is my neighborhood. I prowl the rooftops and alleyways at night, watching from the darkness, forever in darkness. A guardian devil.
Hello and welcome to Comic Book Movie Oblivion, the podcast about feature films based on comic books and comic strips that people have stopped talking about. We are your hosts, Jordan and Kumar, that's me.
And me.
And this week we are talking about Daredevil from 2003.
So we are.
A bit notorious.
Right.
I think for being really, awful. I've seen this. I bought a bootleg DVD of this in Thailand.
What a story.
Around 2003, okay. I had this friend that was living in Thailand. He took us up to his back room where he got all his DVDs. And
that's amazing.
And you sat in this room, and they would put the DVD on in a player, so you could check the quality of it before you could decide whether or not to buy them.
Wow, that's service. And when I used to buy bootlegs in China, you did not get that service.
Right. Well, this is how
I bought what I thought was Matrix. I bought what I thought was The Matrix Reloaded, which I think had come out that year. And when I got back to my flat and put it on, it was Johnny Mnemonic.
That is a real bait and switch. That is like they thought they could fool you into thinking it was a Matrix sequel because it had Keanu in it and it was cyberpunk.
Exactly, and I thought, what is going on? Yeah, is this a future Matrix? Mm-hmm. No, this is Johnny Mnemonic.
That is wild. So I've seen this, but this week we watched the director's cut.
Yeah.
I'm not sure quite what the differences are. I know that Coolio is one of the differences. Coolio's not in the theatrical cut. All his scenes are cut out of it.
Yeah, I know a little. I don't know exactly. I didn't get a strict list of what made it in and what was taken out, but I know basically what was...
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yes, as we go through, yeah.
So, Daredevil was created by Stan Lee and Bill Everett in 1964. Nobody cares about that version of Daredevil. In fact, nobody cares about the next 15 years of Daredevil from that point on. Anytime anyone talks about Daredevil, they're talking about the Frank Miller run on the character from 1979 to 1982. He took over as artist, and then Roger McKenzie was the writer. And Roger McKenzie was supposedly fired after about 10 issues or something. I'm not sure what the story is there. And then Frank Miller took over writing, which was very unusual at the time to have a writer-artist.
Right.
To have that much control over the book. And the book was down to bi-monthly. It was not selling well.
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
But anytime anybody talks about Daredevil, they're really talking about that. Nobody really cares very much at all about the initial Stan Lee Bill Everett version. But we will talk about the origin and stuff.
Well, I mean, it's all there. Yeah. He's blind lawyer.
Yes.
Super senses.
Yes.
Fights crime.
Yes. So it starts out, he's a little kid. His father, his name Matt Murdock, his father was a prize fighter, a boxer named Battling Jack Murdock. Mm-hmm. And Battling Jack ended up, he was supposed to throw a fight for this gangster.
Yep.
And
called imaginatively The Fixer.
The Fixer, yes. And there's a lot of, we'll talk about all the imaginative stuff later. Meanwhile, one day, Matt's out walking or something. Okay, here's the key thing. Jack has promised his deceased wife that he would raise their son to use his head, not be a thug with his fists like Dad is.
Yep.
So he's like, I don't want you fighting, you're going to hit those books. The only thing you're going to hit is the books. You're going to study hard, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah.
And Matt doesn't really, he does it, and he's great at school, he's very academic, but he is kind of bullied, he hates that aspect of it. So he kind of works out by himself anyway. He keeps himself
He's from
fit.
New York too. He has an Irish name.
Yes.
And he's from Hell's Kitchen.
That's right.
Which at that time, to readers in the 60s, would have been very recognisable as a poor neighbourhood where a lot of immigrant Irish communities lived.
Yeah. So he's a poor kid of this poor boxer, and he's trying. Now, one day he's out walking around in the streets, and a blind man is about to be hit by a truck. He's crossing the street, and the brakes have broken on the truck, and the sign on the front of the truck says, Ajax Atomic Labs Radioactive Materials, Danger.
Great. So This is all very typical kind of Stan Lee stuff, isn't it? He's saving a blind guy.
Yes.
And then he's blinded in the accident.
Yes, this is the first irony. So some radioactive material falls out of this truck and blinds him. And he wakes up, but his senses are super heightened. His other four senses, so sense of taste, touch, smell, and hearing, are super high. And so much so that he has a kind of radar sense. He can kind of sense.
He's got an extra sense, essentially.
Yes, and he's got an extra sense. Right?
It's never really... It's from the start, it's plainly an extrasensory ability. It's not sonar. I should point that out. When I saw this... We'll talk about this, I suppose, when we get to the movie. But it really kind of pissed me off when Ben Affleck says, a kind of sound radar. And I was like, yeah, that exists.
Yes, but it doesn't...
It's called sonar.
Yes, but that would imply that he's pinging something out of his ear. I don't know how this... He claims that it works based on sound in the movie.
Yeah.
But there are lots of things that are there that are not moving, that are perfectly still. Like a cabinet in the corner is not moving around, but somehow he can still detect it.
It's implied he's so sensitive that ambient sound is enough for him to get a ping.
Oh, right, okay.
Except it doesn't work. I mean, look, it's fine. It's a fine... I just objected to, like, people know what sonar is, right?
Right.
Just say sonar.
But I think...
Why do you have to say radar based on sound?
When
I've said this to people, they've not understood. Right. Anyway, so we'll go back. His radar is very definitely something that he just kind of gives off.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to click like a bat. It's just something that and it's represented by these cool concentric kind of red circles, which are always present. Frank Miller used them as well.
Later on, they were introduced by Wally Wood. They weren't there in the first Bill Everett issues.
Good old Wally Wood. Yeah. Whatever happened to Wally Wood?
Listen, what happened to that poor guy.
Yeah. He also did another thing is the electrocardiogram for when Daredevil is listening to
people's
heartbeats.
Yeah.
That's also something Wally Wood invented.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paul Young, who wrote a book about this and who I'm going to be making reference to extensively.
Yes, I was going to have Paul on the show. We just couldn't time it right because it's the start of the school year. He's a professor. He wrote a book 10 years ago called Daredevil and the Ends of Heroism, which won an Eisner Award for Best Book about Comics. I have to say, I read it this week. I think it's one of the best books about comics I've ever read. And it made me feel like a rank amateur. Coming into this episode, I was like, what are we doing? I almost shut down the podcast. I was like, why are we here? Anyway, yes, he points this out, that Wally came up with these things, and also that Stan Lee promised him a bit of a bit more of a cut in this that didn't materialize.
Yes. Paul didn't go into that much after that. He did went into a lot of other things.
No, but you just can't help but think about the fact that Wally Wood shot himself.
Yeah, it's...
At the end.
Thanks, Stan.
Yeah, you can't help but wonder if he'd gotten a little bit extra dead of him. But Daredevil was never a popular character.
No.
So it didn't matter, really. He probably wouldn't have made much money out of it. Okay, so after this accident, he's blind, but he's like got these super senses, and he goes to law school.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to become a lawyer. And he meets this guy. He's got this dorm mate called Foggy Nelson. And they, after graduation, they're like, we're going to go into business together. Because Foggy's dad, sets him up in business. But before graduation, there is a fight in which Jack Murdock is supposed to take a fall. The fixer says, you're going to take a fall. But Matt is in the audience tonight, and he's got too much pride. He just can't do it. He needs to beat this man in front of his son. So he wins the fight.
Well, he's to be exact, he hasn't been crooked. He's tried to go straight. This is Battler Jack. But the fixer has tricked him into thinking he's been winning his fights to set him up for the championship bout, which he is now going to take a dive. It's kind of like, did you even need to tell him? I mean, he's like in his 40s fighting the champion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, because he gets that inspiration. The guy, well, he's not taking any chances. You know, he says, I think, is this the film or is this in the comic? I mean, he pretty much says, I don't work for you no more, or I'm going straight.
It's a good question because the 3 versions of Daredevil are mixed up in my head. 4. there's this version, there's some of the retcons by Frank Miller, there's the movie, and then there's the Netflix series. And they're all, at this stage, a big jumble in my head.
Yeah, of course. So he does it, that's pretty typical comic stuff, isn't it? So I think, anyway, the point is he refuses to take the dive.
Yeah.
And because he's trying to make a point for Matt, because he's trying to go straight, because he's trying to live a virtuous life, whatever. And he beats the champion.
Yeah.
But the Fixer is not happy about that and has him killed.
Yeah. And
this is the start. It's the Batman origin.
Right.
It's pretty much
It's
pretty much Batman.
This inspires
and
Matt
Spider-Man, yeah,
to use his powers to get revenge. But he promised his dad he would not be a fighter. He would not get into physical altercations. He's a lawyer. So he comes up with an idea, which is that Matt Murdock will not do it. Another persona will do it. He creates this Daredevil persona. He makes the suit for himself, which you can feel the colors of, amazingly.
Because the dyes leave a different texture.
It's a yellow.
It's fine.
It's a yellow and black, like acrobatic circus.
It's like a leotard kind of thing. He's not red at this point.
No.
He's, black.
Yeah, this is the Bill Everett time. Wallywood was the one who gave him the red outfit. So he decides he's going to go track down the Fixer and the guy who actually did the hit. What was that guy's name? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Slade, or I might be might have that completely wrong. Anyway, basically, Daredevil tracks him, goes to their lair, their hideout, their hangout.
There's plenty of wisecracking. He's got this thing where he'll
it's a real Spider-Man type.
It's very Spider-Man-esque.
Yeah.
He's basically. I mean, Spider-Man's prominently featured on the front.
Yeah.
On the cover of the first Daredevil comic.
Yeah.
And it even says, "Remember Spider-Man?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, here comes Daredevil.
Yeah.
They're the same, except he's blind.
Yes.
So there's some shenanigans. He ends up chasing the Fixer down into the subway.
He chases them both down, and they split up. The Fixer has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And dies. Daredevil tracks down the actual gunman.
Mm-hmm. And
the Triggerman. He tricks him into saying, "I got a confession," or "I tape recorded it," or something like that. And the other guy gives himself up. The cops have heard him confess, and they've shown up on the scene, and they take the guy away and they arrest him. And that's the origin of Daredevil. Daredevil he's founded this law firm with Foggy, as I mentioned. They've got a secretary named Karen Page. Karen there's kind of a lame love triangle.
Yeah, this is typical. It's just like X-Men or this is another Stan Lee thing, right?
Yeah.
People, all early Fantastic Four, where the Thing had the hots for Susan or whoever it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It just seemed like the only thing
yeah.
He just always does it.
Yes.
In fact, I'm sure Professor X was fancy Jean Grey.
That's right. Yeah, 100%. That was in issue 1.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was right.
Just throw that shit in, whatever, Stan.
Yeah. Okay, so then around 1979...
to pause.
Sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned no one cares about Daredevil in the first 15 years. Paul raises the point that there's two kind of points that appear in issue 1 which are promptly forgotten, but which are important and which reappear again later. The first is that it's the legal element.
Yes.
Here, it's very important for Daredevil to legally kind of get the Fixer and his henchmen and have them self-incriminate, so that there's sufficient evidence for them to be convicted in court. So the idea that he's going to be a different kind of superhero because he has this kind of legal interest.
That's right.
And also another thing, collecting evidence himself, which is obviously not really something that lawyers do, but it's something that Daredevil definitely does. He goes out and collects evidence.
Yeah.
The other is his senses.
Yes.
The idea that he's not just his radar, but that all of his senses are operating at a superhuman level, and that he can sort of feel the air almost.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He can hear and smell, and all of it gives him this incredibly complete picture.
Yeah.
Almost as though he's seeing what we're seeing as the readers of the comic. And I think Stan's even having Daredevil narrate what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Which is which seems gimmicky and stupid, but actually is a kind of interesting thing. Anyway, it's promptly forgotten, according to Paul.
Yes, right.
Until we get to Frank Miller in the late 70s.
Right. So, but we do have, at this point, we have the blind justice. Get it? Blind justice, get it? Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
And then at some point they introduce him being like a Catholic, like strongly Catholic.
Yeah, when does that come up?
Not sure when that comes in, but he's dressed as a devil. Get it? Get it? He's a Catholic, but he runs around dressed as a devil. Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so Frank Miller comes on, a young artist, just kind of finding his way, figuring it out. He ends up with a lot of freedom on this book. And even when Roger Mackenzie is writing it, he's doing a lot of experimental stuff. And I would say he's one of the first artists that was not trying to clone Jack Kirby, because during this period, there was the mandate in the office was you got to try to draw like Jack Kirby. So all these artists like Sal Buscema, John Buscema, all those guys, to a certain extent, were told to draw in a certain way. Frank Miller was kind of doing the opposite. He was going back to the EC guys like Bernie Krigstein, maybe...
Big bit on Bernie Krigstein in Paul's book, I noticed.
Maybe even Wally Wood to a certain extent, but he was going back to crime comics, the EC crime comics. That was his scene.
Yep.
And he broke this thing wide open. It became a huge hit because it was very unlike any other comics. It was very violent, although he still kind of had to hide it under the code. But he brought in, a key thing is he brought in 3 villains. He brought in Elektra.
Yeah.
He retconned this character in the series. This assassin, this lady assassin shows up called Elektra, who had been Matt's girlfriend, his first love in university. And she was the daughter of a...
When you say retconned...
Yeah.
Do you mean...
She'd never been mentioned before.
Right.
There had been no mention of his first love. I think maybe even his first girlfriend might have been Karen in the original Stan Lee run.
Of course.
But now we're saying actually he had this girlfriend in university you've never heard about before.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Elektra, right.
Yeah. And she was a daughter of a Greek diplomat or ambassador or something like that. And there was, at the university, there was a hostage situation where the diplomat is held hostage, and he was accidentally killed by a cop outside that was trying to defuse this hostage situation, mistaking him for a criminal in the window in the building. And Dad is killed, and I think Elektra was maybe studying law at this university as well, and she's like, no, this isn't working. This is all...
It wasn't law, she was studying something else.
Yeah, but she's like, you know what, your system doesn't work, I'm out of here. And she goes away.
Yep.
This is all kind of laid out a little bit in this issue, and then later on is the 25 issues that Frank Miller worked on, that he wrote, progress. But basically, she went off and learned to become a mercenary. And in this first issue, 168, which was Frank Miller's first issue that he wrote, she comes back to town as a mercenary.
Yep.
And
she's a ninja.
Well, that's revealed a bit later on. At this stage,
she's plainly a ninja. She's got size.
She's got size,
those traditional...
but she's not dressed like a ninja. She's dressed in basically underwear.
Yeah.
Very little.
Sort of like red silk.
Red silk, yeah, just like that barely covers her.
Yeah. Classic Frank Miller.
Yeah.
If people want to know what we think about Frank Miller, please listen to the Sin City episode.
Yeah. Although, I mean, this is not Sin City Frank Miller. This is a guy that's still... and. You know, yes. Paul really lays this out very well in his book. There's still balance at this stage. Yeah, you're right.
This is completely true. And I got that impression reading it, actually. This is long before he started to degenerate.
Yeah.
Literally. There's a hilarious photo of Frank Miller, I think in 2016, the premiere of Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, where he literally looks like he's melting.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago. God knows what he looks like now.
Yeah. Apparently he's kind of cleaned up. So maybe he's doing better now.
Well, I hope he is.
Okay, so Elektra comes back. She's an assassin. So over the next few issues, sometimes... But now Daredevil is her enemy. He loved her, but now she's a murderer. She's a cold-blooded murderer.
And that's an anathema to him because he's, supposedly very moral.
Yes.
For a vigilante that kicks the shit out of criminals.
He is super violent.
He believes strongly in the law, which he violates every single night.
Yes, but that's also addressed by Frank Miller, especially in his final issue, which was 191. But we'll try to touch on all this stuff quickly. The other villain, who was an existing Daredevil villain, was this Bullseye, who is this guy that can... throw anything with perfect aim. Anything. Including like paper clips, or... There's an amazing issue here where he's in jail and he they give him his pill, and he keeps the pill in his mouth, and he spits it out at the guy to kill him.
Yeah. Well, he just blinds him.
Yeah, he blinds him.
He hits him in the eye with the pill.
Yeah. So he's a bit of a Joker character. There's never been an origin of Bullseye. We don't know anything about him. There was one mention that he had tried out for like the major leagues or something at one stage.
Okay.
And actually the Netflix series very stupidly, and it's a good series, stupidly takes that as the explanation. Like this guy just practiced baseball super hard and became this assassin that could absolutely hit a guy with a paperclip and murder him.
Well, I think Daredevil's rogues gallery is pretty poor.
Well,
right?
Exactly. So before this, we had characters like Purple Man. I mean, its villain in issue 2 was Electro, who was a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah. Purple Man,
the Owl, who's basically just like the Vulture.
Yeah.
These were very lame villains. So, and actually, Frank Miller...
don't forget Stilt Man.
Stilt Man, yeah, absolutely. Stilt Man was there.
Leapfrog.
Yeah. So, but
these are terrible villains.
Frank Miller gets rid of all of them except for basically 3. Electro, Bullseye. So Bullseye comes back, but Frank Miller makes him a real great psycho. This guy's absolute psychopathic murderer. Cold-blooded, does not care about human life, has no value, puts no value in human life in the least. He's a really amazing, cold-blooded killer. And the third villain that Frank Miller brought in was the Kingpin, who had been a Spider-Man villain, and he's basically controls all the mobs in New York, but at this point...
He's living in Japan.
He's living in Japan.
Because where else would he be bloody living?
There's
a whole world that you could live in, but he's living in Japan.
He's just retired.
It's not like his wife's even Japanese.
No, so his wife, Vanessa, is straight, and she's like, okay, give up your life of crime? And he's like, sure.
She's
and
straight edge, yeah.
He gives up his life of crime, he moves to Japan, fine.
Why? It's just this Frank Miller stuff. Such a fucking weeb.
But
he lives in it looks like Himeji Castle.
Yeah. Well, he's rich.
and I mean, this is I've seen this on the internet so many times. It's this few panels where the Kingpin is dressed like a sumo wrestler, and there's a bunch of guys in like karate gis, and he kicks the shit out of all of them.
Yep.
It's so goofy.
Yeah.
This is what now that he's retired and he's like going straight. This is how he blows off steam, by dressing up like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah. But the mobs in New York want to lure him back. I can't remember why exactly, but they want to kill him.
He's in the middle of exchanging...
oh, that's right. He's about to turn over evidence to the feds in the States on all his former crime lords that he used to work with. And they're like, we can't let this happen. They lure him back to the States. They're going to try to kill him. They fail, but they... he thinks Vanessa's dead. His own henchman basically kills Vanessa to get him to get back in the act.
Yeah.
She's not actually dead. She survived this explosion. She's living in the sewers.
Yep.
But it drives him back into a life of crime.
Yeah, and he becomes the other main villain.
Yeah. So there's only really 3 villains over these 25 issues that kind of pop in and out. Bullseye ends up he had a brain tumor and he escaped from his wherever he was, the institution or whatever, jail, and he thinks everyone is Daredevil, and he starts murdering random people in the street because they all look like Daredevil to him. And Daredevil goes out and tries to catch him, and he finally knocks him down onto some subway tracks, and he's like, I'm going to leave you there to die.
This is I'm glad that you raised this.
It's a great scene. It's awesome. And Daredevil's like, I hate you. I hate you, you're a killer. I hope you die right here. And then he changes his mind at the last second and pulls him off the tracks.
Yes.
And then they operate on him. But this causes Bullseye to be humiliated. He is so humiliated that Daredevil beat him and then saved his life. And now he's like survived. And he's in prison. And in one of the most legendary issues of this comic or any comic, 181, he gets out of prison. And I think... he escaped, and he...
with this pill spitting.
Yes, with the pill spitting, that's right. With the pill spitting, and this was actually, this is manipulation by the Punisher, who happens to be in jail at the same time as him, and it's like, hey, you're no longer the Kingpin's main assassin, even if you get out of here, because he's got a new assassin of this woman, Elektra. And he's hoping that this drives Bullseye crazy enough to be stupid and get himself killed.
Right.
And he manages to get out, and he has this fight with Elektra. He kills her with one of her own scythes. First, he throws a playing card at her neck, which cuts her neck. She's weakened, and then he grabs one of her sides and he stabs her right through. As Frank Miller pointed out, he was shocked that the Comics Code let him do it because it is a very phallic murder. It is not just a murder. It is a...
And stabbing wasn't even really... Stabbing wasn't allowed.
No.
Under the Comics Code. It's so weird that it's allowed.
It's done through her,
stabbing wasn't
her
allowed.
shirt, so you can't see any blood.
Right, maybe that's why they let it go.
She, in her death throes, she crawls to Matt's house. He's like, oh my god, Elektra's dead. He figures out that it's Bullseye. He goes after Bullseye, gets in a huge fight, drops him off a roof, and then he's like all busted up. And it ends up, after that, he's like every bone is broken. He's wrapped up.
He's in total paralysis,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
He literally can't move.
Yeah.
So that got locked in syndrome. The only thing he can move is his eyes, which is pretty fucked up.
Oh, yeah. And it's even more fucked up because in the final issue of Frank Miller's run, Daredevil goes in there and plays Russian roulette with Bullseye.
That's a bit much.
No, I actually felt that it was a good build-up to the final climactic issue of the series.
Sure, I that issue is fine, and I like its moral. I like what it's doing.
Right.
Where Daredevil, I like that Frank Miller tries to grapple with the central paradox of Daredevil, which is that he's a lawyer that constantly breaks the law.
Yes.
Well,
and also this
not that lawyers, I'm sure, break the law all the time. What I mean is a guy that supposedly has the law on a pedestal.
Yes.
And yet vigilantism is very definitely illegal. So how to reconcile those two things? Most people didn't bother. And in fact, Miller didn't bother for most of the run, I think. But in this final issue, as you pointed out, he dedicates quite a bit of time to it. And it's pretty good. He talks about a little kid, like a kid that idolizes him.
This kid Chucky idolizes him, and he's watching a tape. He has this tape recording of Bullseye fighting Daredevil, and he worships Daredevil to the point that he says, I am Daredevil.
Yeah.
And Chucky's dad is he's on trial for some sort of embezzlement or something, and he wants Matt Murdock as lawyer. And Matt's like, I'm not sure. And this guy's really cruel to his son. He's like,
piece of shit, yeah.
And,
but the kid, like all kids, loves his dad, and also loves Daredevil.
Yeah.
Then Daredevil goes and interrupts like a bad shakedown that goes wrong involving the dad and another
he finds that the dad actually is corrupt.
Yeah. And punches the dad out. And then the kid just has a total disassociative break.
Yeah.
Because the two people that he loves best...
That's right.
have and Daredevil is talking to Bullseye and saying, there's more than... It's not just the criminals to put away, it's what am I to someone who's not a criminal?
Yeah.
Like what kind of message am I sending? Not just, it's not like just Batman scaring crooks.
Yeah.
What kind of message am I sending to people that aren't criminals?
Yeah.
This kid, because the kid ends up like stealing his dad's gun and like trying to shoot a bully or something.
Yeah.
And like Daredevil's like, well, how do I reconcile this?
Yes. There's also the question of violence that he's absorbing through TV. This is also explicitly brought up in the issue. Like he's consuming violence as entertainment, which is what this comic book is. Miller's very directly addressing that in this.
Oh, that went over my head. The only thing is about this issue is that I just think, like we get to see all this content that Daredevil can see in his mind's eye. But I just kept thinking about poor old Bullseye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The other thing Bullseye saw was Daredevil constantly...
Oh, yeah, it's riddled to Bullseye. By the way, there are no bullets in the gun.
But Bullseye didn't know that.
No, he didn't know that. And in
what was the point of this? It's just pure psychological torture.
It is, and also it's Daredevil, his final line is I have no bullets. And that what he's doing, his vigilantism, is not actually accomplishing anything. Is the final message of the final page of the final issue of Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. It is the ends of heroism, as Paul Young
yes, I see. I haven't quite finished Paul's book yet. I don't think it's as good as Peter David, but I did like this.
Right.
Some general points about Miller's stuff?
Well, let's go through a few more plot points, and then we'll talk about some of that other stuff. At this point in time, Daredevil is dating a girl named Heather Glenn. Heather is the heiress to this company called Glenn Enterprises, and the board is kind of trying to force her out, and they're corrupt, and they're doing sorts of weapons deals and stuff that she, if she knew about it, would not be happy about. When Elektra dies, Daredevil goes a bit crazy, and the next issue, after Daredevil's death, he proposes to Heather. And then he proceeds to destroy her company so that she has no choice but to marry him. It's a total manipulative move because he could not save Elektra, so he's going to force Heather into a position where she has to accept his salvation. It's really wild. We're introduced to a character called Stick, who's this old man.
Oh, yeah, Stick.
Who was the man that apparently trained young Matt Murdock. Now, the timeline is a bit fuzzy. We don't know. Like, it seems like he showed up after the blinding, and he taught Matt how to use his senses. But at this time, Battling Jack would have still been alive.
The time it's vague. It seems it's implied that maybe at some point it became too much. Like maybe not straight away. At some intermediate point.
Yes, right.
And at that point, he finds Stick. Stick is similar to... pretty much identical to Daredevil. He's a blind guy that has the radar and all the other junk.
And he's kind of, he's actually like really American. Like he has kind of an American accent.
It's a bit strange, actually.
It's interesting. He's not like a stereotypical Asian blind martial artist.
This is true, and I appreciate that Miller was trying to do something different here, except it all just gets muddled up, I think, by eventually having him be the head of a group of Asian martial artists living in like the Himalayas.
Okay, well this now we learn more about Elektra. How about Elektra she trained to become a mercenary.
Should we save Elektra for next week?
Yes, okay. Yeah, okay, but I will say that she trained to become a mercenary, then she trained with ninjas. That's all I'll say about her. So she is a trained ninja, as you said.
Not the foot, yeah.
Yeah. Because the radioactive material that made Matt blind then dripped down in the sewers and then turned the turtles into the Teenage Mutant Turtles. If you haven't figured that out already. And all the ninjas are jumping around. By the way, this is 1982. This is really before Canon was making all those ninja movies. And Frank Miller was hot into this Japanese stuff. He was a Japanophile, and he was reading Lone Wolf and Cobb. He was picking these up at these Japanese bookshops in New York or whatever. And he was onto this ninja stuff before it became really hot.
He's the ninja progenitor.
Yeah,
I've written frickin' ninjas in my. It's like I think I said in the House and City episode. Like whenever I think of Frank Miller in the 80s, I just think ninjas.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of other characters. There's a reporter named Ben Urich. Who, for the Daily Bugle, he actually figured out that Daredevil was Matt Murdock and confronted him with it, but buried the article. He decided not to publish it, but he still keeps it in his file. It's under P for Pulitzer, I think. There's a funny scene where he's going through all the P's for something. I can't remember what he's looking... Oh, he's looking at Punisher. It was like right next to Punisher, Pulitzer Punisher.
Very funny.
And Elektra kills him. Also, there's a great scene where Elektra catches...
Does she kill him?
Yeah, I think so.
No, she doesn't kill him. She throws a sigh at him and he recovers.
Oh, he does recover. Okay, sorry. There is an interesting scene here where she catches Daredevil in a bear trap, and I thought, whoa, that is Freudian. Like holy cow. And the sigh.
It's his foot. His foot is caught in the bear trap. Let's make that plain.
Yes. It is his foot, but that was something else. Okay, some other characters. There's a recurring kind of comic relief criminal called Turk. I just want to mention him because he shows up. He's not in this movie, but he's in all over the Netflix series.
He's briefly mentioned in the movie.
Yes, he is briefly mentioned. That's right. Yeah. That's right. In a scene which would have been cut from the theatrical version, I think.
Correct. Yes, because it's
Coolio. And then there's also a scene, the last Kingpin issue, Kingpin saves Daredevil. Dare saves his life, and Daredevil's like, why'd you save me? He's like, well, I need you, because you put fear into the gangs just like I do. The city needs both of us. And that's just before the Russian roulette with Bullseye, and Daredevil's like, oh shit, like, I'm on this guy's side? Okay, now Frank Miller. We'll talk a bit about Frank Miller.
It's Kingpin that saves Daredevil.
Yeah. What did I say?
I think that's what you said.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah. Okay, so Frank Miller, really interesting. He's trying to break up the page in different ways. The art approach was, his art was sometimes clumsy and weird, but which is another thing that Paul talks about in his book. But his approach to the pages was really interesting, and as Paul points out, non-cinematic. Like, he was specifically doing things that were only comics kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But what was the other thing you wanted to say about Frank Miller? You wanted to get...
No, I just wanted any kind of general points about these comics. I think they're pretty good. This is kind of like the Daredevil when you think of Daredevil.
Absolutely.
It's Frank Miller's Daredevil that you're seeing.
And I also think this paved the way for Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. I think if I can... Because I think to reinvent that character so completely, 4 years before Alan Moore did.
I think I understand the point you're making, but I think to return to what I was saying about that first issue, these things were there, right? But other people had just let them fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
I think Paul makes the point that Daredevil becomes a guy that does where like being a lawyer is his hobby.
Yes, right.
Him being a lawyer is not an important part of the character.
Yeah.
It's just something that can fill a few pages in between fighting Stiltman.
Yes.
Also, his blindness became less important over time.
Right. Yeah.
We never hear things. He was just essentially Spider-Man doing Spider-Man-y things, making quips.
Yeah.
Being a kind of crappier version of Spider-Man with nothing very interesting about the character.
Yeah.
I suppose what Miller's done, as you pointed out, is less a reinvention and more a rediscovery of these early interesting elements that got lost.
Yeah.
He puts the idea of the law and justice and sort of legal adventures of Daredevil back in the forefront. He also he has a lot of kind of very evocative noir-esque dialogue or captions about how Daredevil feels.
Yeah.
Which kind of prefigures Sin City a bit, I think.
Oh, 100%.
It very much reminds me.
Sin City is like this distilled like to the ultimate extreme.
So Daredevil will be feeling or smelling or hearing or touching, tasting the city.
Yeah.
And it's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
or it's both pleasant and unpleasant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the dialogue, some of the stuff that Daredevil says and some of his captions is a little bit...
I agree with that completely. I mean,
it's a little bit
I do think that Daredevil had to walk so that Swamp Thing could run.
Okay, no, that's fair. But yeah, those were just my basic points that I wanted to make. A kind of a noir sensibility, which he really leans into in Sin City.
Yeah.
And putting... The Catholicism, I think, is not really there in Miller's run. Maybe he didn't really feel comfortable... The ones that feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
He doesn't go in a church.
Actually, you know what? That comes up more in a later...
Kevin Smith stuff?
No,
Born Again.
Born Again. He did a series called Born Again, drawn by Dave Mazzucchelli, which has a lot more of the Catholic angle in it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So not so much the Catholic stuff, but certainly more him going out and collecting evidence.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if he in that first 15 years of his run if he did that a lot. I doubt it if he was fighting Stiltman and shit like that.
Right. Yeah.
But a big thing for Miller is that Daredevil will be shaking down people Rorschach style.
Yeah.
For like locations of people. Where can I find this guy?
Usually goes into Josie's bar.
Always Josie's bar,
where all the bad guys hang out. You'd think they'd stop going there.
Yeah, because he breaks the window all the time.
Oh yeah, breaks their arms and legs and stuff, and then they criminals still keep going back to that place. They know Daredevil's going to show up.
Poor old Josie, when's she going to replace it with bulletproof glass? Really, because it's a bit of a running gag. People get thrown out all the time. So yeah, this is Frank Miller doing pretty good before it all went wrong.
Yep. I would agree with that. I think it's a good take.
And also, thank God Daredevil doesn't groom any preteen girls.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this movie.
Yes. 2003. Directed by Mark Steven Johnson, who had been the director of Grumpy Old Men 1 and 2.
Nuts.
And Jack Frost, the really freaky, terrible Michael Keaton snowman movie, Dad reincarnated as a snowman. And then somehow he ends up on this, Elektra, and 2 Ghost Rider movies. And, I mean, these movies are flopping. Why do they keep coming back to this guy?
It's this movie, I think, that gives him the chops, cachet, ability to make those subsequent movies.
Yeah.
This movie didn't do too bad.
Sure, it spawned a spin-off / sequel, yeah.
Yep. So it, if we're leaping ahead to the trivia section, it cost $78 million, which is a lot of money, but we'll get into why it cost so much money. And it made $179.2 million.
Okay.
It's not a runaway success. It didn't make 3 times the budget, for example, but it made more than twice, which presumably in 2003 was enough for it to recoup its budget and greenlight a sequel.
Okay.
Which may have been greenlit before even that, because that might be the story of the theatrical version as we'll get to.
Right. So, so I don't know why you would peg the guy who did Grumpy Old Man and Jack Frost.
I know why. I know why. Okay. It's a story of how it came to the screen.
Okay.
If you like, I can tell it now.
Okay, sure.
Okay, it has to do with Fantastic Four. No. But it's very similar to the story of the Fantastic Four that we covered.
Okay.
So in the late 90s, Marvel is in the doldrums. They've sold off everything.
Yep.
Trying to make some cash. So 20th Century Fox has the rights to Daredevil.
Okay.
And they want Chris Columbus to direct it.
Oh!
Now this probably sounds familiar because it's the exact same thing as...
He was going to direct Fantastic Four.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So they've just got the same template for both these movies. However, unlike Fantastic Four, 20th Century Fox, for whatever reason, decides to let Daredevil's rights lapse.
Okay.
So... again, so the rights revert to Marvel, but Marvel's broke, so they sell it again.
Okay.
They sell it to Columbia Pictures, apparently, where it sits for a little while, a couple of years, and they commission someone to write a script for them.
Okay.
Mark Steven Johnson.
Okay.
He wrote the script.
Okay.
Mark Steven Johnson is a big Daredevil fan.
Okay.
Apparently, Daredevil was his favourite comic when he was a kid.
Yep.
The Frank Miller version.
Yep.
And he wanted to make a Daredevil movie since he was 10 years old.
Okay.
Avi Arad called it his dream project because it was his favourite superhero.
Okay.
I have a quote which I read in an interview in 2003, which appeared in the on the website Dark Horizons. Mark Steven Johnson said to the interviewer, "This is something I've been wanting to do since I was about 12 years old. I've been reading the comic ever since then. It's something that's become an obsession for me. I started tracking down Avi and Marvel many years ago, pretty much up until the restraining order. But Avi saw that it was something that I wanted more than anybody else could want something. This is something I've been writing for the last couple of years for Columbia and pursuing for the last 6 years. For me, my dream was to get all these people involved and to get this movie made." So it seems like a little bit like Diary of a Teenage Girl. There seems to be kind of like a driving interest behind this. However, I mean, this is a property that's being bounced around. Columbia had it. Johnson bulldozed. Either they commissioned Johnson, they heard about his interest, or he kind of like bulldozed his way into writing the script. But Columbia sort of gave up on it after a little while and offered the rights up to whoever wanted.
Okay.
Eventually, a production company called New Regency picked up the script, and they're the eventual production company that made it.
Okay.
The people that ended up distributing the movie, Fox.
Yes.
So it went full circle.
Right. Okay.
When Spider-Man ended up doing well, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man ended up doing well, Fox contributed more money.
Okay.
Which is how the budget got up to $78 million in the hopes of creating a franchise.
Okay. So we open with these kind of fake city shots, which I liked.
Yeah,
now,
this is good.
It is good. It's interesting because in the comics, the city is very stylized. It's not a real city. It's a city forced into a noir mode in a comic book, on a comic book page. So I was like, oh, this guy kind of gets the comics. It's like not a real city. It's like this weird, cramped thing. But also I was like, well, why are you doing this in a movie? Frank Miller was specifically doing it in comics because it was not a movie. So anyway, I was like, okay, I know. I was kind of into it a little bit. The credits come up, they're all like in Braille.
This is an interesting touch.
Interesting choice because you can't touch the screen to get the Braille. I mean, it's for the seeing viewers, but
exclusively for seeing sighted viewers.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's hard, as you say, it's hard to process what's going on.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Who is this for?
Yeah.
This is a nod to the fact that Daredevil is blind. And I guess it's an arresting visual.
Yes, that's true.
Watching names go into actual Braille.
That is true.
But a blind person can't touch the screen and read
but
Braille.
it was kind of a neat effect, and we had the neat city. I was kind of like, and I said, I had watched the theatrical cut on a bootleg DVD many years ago. And I remember really disliking this movie, and I started to watch this, I was like, oh, did I get a wrong read on this movie? At least from the first 2 minutes of it, from the opening credits. Okay, now we start in medias res. So we've got Daredevil clinging to the cross of a church, and then he falls through the roof into the church.
This apparently is a panel from Kevin Smith's run on...
It could be, yeah.
The Wikipedia seems pretty definite, but they don't tell you...
There's a Daredevil cover. The issue after Elektra dies, he goes to her grave to dig her up because he doesn't believe she's dead. And the cover of that issue is he's clinging to a cross in the graveyard.
That's true.
So it could just.
I think whoever edited that, I was very skeptical of this claim. I want to point out. This is the thing with bloody Wikipedia. When it's not right,
I did read those Kevin Smith issues, but I don't remember anything about them. And again, this is something we kind of have to...
Because it's patently not based on Kevin Smith's stuff.
And it goes back to what I said about...
Sorry, go on.
It goes back to what I said about... people only care about Frank Miller.
Yeah.
It was a kind of famous run by Kevin Smith, which is only 8 issues, I think, in the early 2000s. There was a run by Brian Michael Bendis a bit later, which is lauded, but I don't hear anybody, maybe in my circles, talking about how great the Brian Michael Bendis run was. Anytime anyone talks about Daredevil, they only talk about the Frank Miller run.
Quite. And I noticed the Wikipedia article points out that actually makes the claim plainly that the film draws on the Kevin Smith run, of which there is absolutely no evidence outside this Wikipedia article. And this one photo they have, or rather visual, an inset visual of a shot from the screen, which is Matt clinging to the cross, Daredevil clinging to the cross, and a similar panel from Kevin Smith's.
Right.
And that's the sole evidence they offer. It's just there's no link to an article. There's no statement.
There's another thing about this movie is it makes constant references to a lot of people that have worked on Daredevil over the years.
This is true.
And we'll talk about this. I'll try to pick them all up as we go through them.
Okay.
But it doesn't draw from any of that work, as far as I can tell. It only draws on the Frank Miller run. But we'll talk about that a little bit.
Very good. I look forward to
He falls into the church. He's rescued by Father Everett. There's your first reference to Bill Everett. And there's these kind of flashbacks, like quick cuts to something that happened. And then we get a voiceover.
Ben Affleck.
From Ben Affleck telling the whole story. Now, you'd think that the voiceover would make things clear. It does not. Also, Ben Affleck, it's a bit like the Harrison Ford VO from Blade Runner, which was deliberately bad. I don't know why his VO in this is so bad. It's so lifeless, and I mean, I don't want to get sued by him as well as Madonna.
That's the first time that's been mentioned for a while.
Maybe he's a bad actor. In this movie,
I don't know. I'm not sure this is the role for him.
Well, I mean, he's got a great superhero face. He's got the jaw. He's done it 3 times. I mean, he did this Batman. He also played George Reeves in Hollywoodland. He looks like a superhero.
He did do that in Hollywoodland. I've forgotten about that. He's a really handsome man.
Yeah. And he's tall. He's like 6'4".
6'3".
He's huge. He's
6'3".
perfect.
In fact, I know that because Michael Clarke Duncan is 6'5".
Right.
And in order to have Kingpin bigger, they had to put him on a box.
Holy cow. Well, there you go.
Because Ben Affleck is tall.
Yeah. And by the way, I like the suit. I like the Daredevil suit in this movie.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people didn't, including Affleck himself.
I like it more than the Netflix version.
Oh, 100%. The Netflix version is ridiculous. As soon as they put him in the suit, I was checked out.
Right.
I liked him when he was wearing
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a point about that, which I'll return to, which is interesting.
So, yeah, we get this voiceover, which is very bland, but now we start at the beginning, and we think we're going to get the whole origin story. We do not. All right. Matt's being bullied by some kids.
Yeah.
Just a bully scene. No, his dad is the boxer, Jack Murdoch.
He's got a great set of cauliflower ears.
Yeah.
Which was a nice touch.
Yeah. He thinks his dad's working 2 jobs down at the docks to make money. We get the speech about, hey, I don't want you using your fists. I want you to use
hit the books, kid.
Hit the books, become a doctor or a lawyer. Promise me that. Don't end up like me.
Yep.
And he's like, okay. One day he goes down to the construction site. Matt goes
to show him all his A's.
His A's. He got a report card with straight A's. Dad's not there. The guy says, your dad hasn't worked here in months.
So that
Matt's
coming.
like, okay. So he goes walking around, and then he sees his dad shaking down a guy in an alleyway. So he's a mob enforcer. He's a debt collector for the mob. And this is a heartbreaking for Matt.
Yeah.
Matt runs away through the construction site where there happens to be a fluke accident where a forklift slashes into some canisters of biohazard material, which sprays Matt and blinds him. Okay, straight away, Matt did not jump in front of a blind man or any other man or person to save their life. We don't have an act of heroism.
No.
We just have a guy that was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It's yes, but it's also because it has to do with him discovering his dad is not a good guy.
Yes.
So it's almost like Mark Steven Johnson wrote the script, and he's trying to make it like when it's the dad's fault for being a standover man.
Dad's fault that the forklift malfunctioned.
Yeah,
It's a big stretch.
No, yeah, it's not as good as the. I don't really understand why the change.
No, it's.
It's a real Rube. It's like you said. It's like a real Rube Goldberg kind of situation where he just happened to be running
at that exact second.
His skateboard, I think, is involved too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Someone
trips on his skateboard or something.
Oh, right.
So it's like a Final Destination movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There isn't. So Johnson clearly wants it to be related to him running from his father.
Yeah.
But he couldn't think of a way to make that happen without this absurd series of coincidences.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. Anyway, this stuff sprays in his eyes. We get a early 21st century CGI sequence where I guess it's meant to be the optic nerve. It's being irradiated and sort of growing and mutating.
Yeah, right.
The screen goes black for about 3-4 seconds. Doesn't sound long, but it's a long time in cinema for there not to be a... Which is cool. I wish there'd been more stuff like that. Anyway, then he wakes up in the hospital.
Yeah.
And he starts to experience things with his super senses.
Yeah, so we get first-person view of what he sees, and it's kind of like the worlds of black, but there's like kind of... He can make out shapes of things like cabinets and cars outside and people walking around all over the place. And they're kind of like blue or gray, kind of hazy.
Yes.
A little bit. And then he freaks out about this, but then his dad comes in. I'm not sure how much time has passed because he has no reaction. When his dad comes in, he's not like, Dad, I can...
Some time has passed.
Okay.
Clearly some time has passed because he's cooled down a bit.
Okay.
He's now standing at the window.
Right.
Why would he stand at the window? He's blind. With his back to the door. His dad comes in, and we also find out that Matt has been listening to what's going on. He's been listening to his dad in consultation with his doctors, who have told his dad that Matt is now blind for life.
Right.
And Matt seems pretty chilled out about it, I suppose, because he is not blind. He can see things in blue goo.
Yes, but... He has to, later in the movie, he has to sleep in a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah.
Which is a decent idea, but what about the rest of the day? And what about this little kid who should be freaking out about all this noise and stuff that's going on around him? And he does initially, but then it seems like maybe he's okay with it.
Unfortunately, the sensory deprivation tank is a combination of two things, I think. First of all, it's very clearly the sensory deprivation tank that Daredevil has to go into in order to recover his radar sense from Frank Miller's run when Stick comes to his house. It is this exact same sensory deprivation tank. Mm-hmm. It looks identical.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The second reason I think is edgy shit.
Right.
So at this point in the story, we've got an adult. So to jump ahead a little bit, we have adult Daredevil who's just been out on a run. On a, whatever you call it, patrol, whatever he does at night time.
Night patrol,
And he's got beat up a bit. So he goes back to his flat, which is his flat's a bit odd. He seems to live in a factory.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a house.
And he's got his secret Daredevil stuff.
He doesn't live in a house. He lives in a factory, it looks like. And of course all the lights are off, which I suppose is a nice touch, because he wouldn't need lights. But the whole effect makes it seem like he's in a kind of abandoned nightclub. Mm-hmm. And we see him chew Percocet.
Yep.
Which...
Tough guy.
Tough guy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
I chew Percocet.
Yeah.
And then he goes to sleep in his coffin thing.
Yeah.
To me, this screams, look how cool
Yes.
Daredevil is.
But this is my problem is, okay, it looks cool, but how is he controlling his senses
I think
during the day or when he's a little kid?
Unfortunately, the filmmakers haven't thought about it.
Right.
They haven't thought about it.
Right.
They've just thought, how cool is this?
Yeah.
Daredevil sleeps in a frickin' coffin.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Okay, so Kid Matt goes home, and he starts training on the roof. Now, he explains to us through the voiceover that because of his heightened senses, he can do all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
He can do handstands.
Yes.
He's strong. Because of his heightened sensitivity, he's really strong.
I wish they'd left that out.
Why? Daredevil does not have super strength.
No.
That is not one
He's
of the
like
features
Batman.
of his
He has
character.
to train hard.
That's right. So why include this detail, which also does not make sense? Why would being more sensitive make him physically stronger?
It doesn't make any sense, and I wish they hadn't put it in. It's that and the sound as radar thing. He says, because of my enhanced... First of all, okay, this movie leans into as the original comic did, the first issue, the idea that the fallacy that there are only 5 senses. There are more than 5 senses. Some estimates go as high as 20-something.
Right.
So, first of all, when you've got... So then he goes on to say, because of my enhanced sense of touch, I was super strong and had a great balance. Mm-hmm. Balance is its own sense.
Yeah.
You've got super balance from your sense of balance. It has nothing to do with touch.
Yeah.
Then, of course, we get the line about... And then I had a kind of radar based on sound or something like that.
Yeah.
This line, which irked me no end when I saw the movie in 2003 or whenever it was I saw it.
Yeah.
You're right. It doesn't make... I wish they just left it out
Yeah.
and just had him training.
Yeah. Yeah. The bullies attack him again. These bullies are the worst bullies in the world.
What kind
this
of
is
bully
a blind
picks
child.
on a blind kid?
It is crazy.
No bully does that. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Jack Murdock is going to have this fight, and
Jack Murdock he thinks he's gone straight.
Yeah.
But the Fixer, played by, I forget the actor's name, but he's Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
Who hasn't aged. He's been the same age for like 30 years, this actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. He is the Fixer, and he lays some hard truths on Battling Jack, tells him that you've been working for me all along, you thought you quit?
Yeah.
It's Fallon, right? Fallon. He's not called the Fixer in this,
No,
he's called Fallon. You thought you quit, but you've been working for me all along because I've been fixing your fights. You think a broken down 40-year-old boxer like you really made it to the championship? You idiot. Now you're going to take a dive for me.
Yeah.
And
he'd actually, I think, been giving him fights in this version. Like, he was washed up, but he's like, Fallon can get you some fights.
No, that was the comic version.
Oh, that was in the comic. Okay.
In this version, he thinks he's been getting his fights, but Fallon's been fixing them behind the scenes.
Okay. By the way, the guy he's fighting is named John Romita, clearly named after John Romita Jr., who drew the Daredevil Man Without Fear series written by Frank Miller.
Whoa! Well spotted.
Yeah. His name's on the marquee. And also, by the way, Hector's bodyguard, the guy sitting next to him, who has no lines, is Kane Hodder. He was Jason Voorhees in like 6 Friday the 13th movies.
Whoa!
He's a stunt man.
That's great.
I don't know why he didn't have any lines or why he was in this movie. Maybe he was doing stunts on this movie.
Almost certainly, right?
Yeah, but I was like, what? Kane Hodder sitting right there.
Amazing. Something for the fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So plays out much the same. He beats up.
Yeah.
Like he goes down.
Yes.
Incidentally, this is a really long sequence.
Yeah.
Battling Jack goes down. Hector Salamanca's like nodding, smiling. Yeah, that's right. You go down. But behind him is Matt.
Yeah.
And he's cheering and screaming and saying, "Come on, Dad.
Yeah.
We made a pact. They've made a pact to always do their best," or whatever. He's cheering, screaming. So he gets up. He knocks out the champ. Great. They have the sweatiest hug ever.
Yeah.
And
I like that Jack's boxing robe has the little devil horns.
yeah,
on
it's
it.
cool.
It's red.
Well,
I like
here
that.
he's not Battling Jack here. He's
right.
Jack the Devil.
Yes,
Murdoch.
I like that.
That's cool.
Like those touches.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah. He's killed in the alley, and then the killer says, "Hey kid, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" Which in this movie is they throw a rose on the body. Gee, what's this? Is this going to amount to something? Why do they leave why does the assassin leave a rose on the corpse?
You're so right. Unfortunately, what was clever in 1989 is cliche
Oh,
in
yeah.
2003.
It was so projected, like you could see it a million miles away.
Yeah. So, much like 89 conflated the Joker and Joe Chill, Daredevil 2003 has made the Kingpin the guy that killed Daredevil's father.
Yeah. And he does pick up the rose. I guess it was making enough sound that he could see it. And then he picked
Maybe
it
he
up.
could smell it with super smell. That would make sense.
And then we basically cut to... so now we cut to the present, after the murder of the dad. And Matt Murdock is in court trying a guy for a rape.
He's the prosecutor. No, he's the defender,
that's
but
right.
he's cross-examining the rapist.
Yeah.
It seems like he's prosecuting, though, which is weird, because he wouldn't be a prosecutor. He's a defense attorney.
Yes. Okay, now he's working with Foggy. Foggy here is played by Jon Favreau.
Amazing.
In a sense, comic book movie royalty.
Absolute royalty.
Really. And in fact, now he's like a Hollywood bigwig, like one of the biggest in the
100%.
Disney house.
He's, a huge name in comic book movies and in just, how would you say, popular culture generally? Because The Mandalorian is his show.
Yeah.
Here, though, very early in his career, and believe it or not, had to put on weight to play Foggy.
Right.
Now, of course, Jon Favreau is known for being a bit portly, playing Happy or whoever,
Hogan or whatever it is.
Happy Hogan in the MCU movies. But in here, he's just coming off Swingers, where he was quite a svelte gentleman.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Actually put on the kilos.
And he was a boxer for a while, too, wasn't he?
I didn't know that.
Was he in, like, super boxing shape when he was on Friends? That one season he was on Friends?
I don't want to talk about Friends.
Okay.
There's a whole subplot where he wants to be a championship fighter.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. He's not the only person that put on weight for this movie.
Okay.
Michael Clarke Duncan also put on a ton of weight for it.
Huh.
Already a massive dude.
Oh, yeah.
Incidentally, brilliant casting.
Yeah.
Just the best casting.
Yes.
It's so good. He looks exactly like Kingpin.
Yeah.
Exactly like Kingpin.
Yeah.
If you coloured Kingpin in.
Yeah. It's a good choice. At the time,
so
nobody else
good.
could have done it.
Amazing. I mean, full credit to Vincent
D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio, who's a brilliant Kingpin.
Yeah.
But here, Michael Clarke Duncan is perfect for the role. He just basically did weight training every day.
Right.
His arms are colossal.
Yes, they're as big as my head. Bigger.
It's so big.
Yeah.
He also stacked on like just some general weight. He said I did weight training every day and ate what I wanted.
Yes. Okay.
And he also, when he was wearing a suit, they kind of padded it a bit just to make him even larger.
Right. Okay. We'll talk about his Kingpin later on. I've got two minds about it.
Oh, okay.
All right. But I do think he's perfectly cast in it. Okay, now the guy on trial here is named Quesada, which is named after Joe Quesada, who drew the Kevin Smith run of Daredevil and then became editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics for a decade or 15 years there. Quesada was played by Paul Ben Victor, who you might know from... was he on Sopranos or The Wire? I can't remember, but he's got a voice in Creature Commandos, apparently. Anyway, from his heartbeat, Matt can tell that he's lying.
Yes.
He absolutely did assault this woman. But he gets off the trial. And as Matt and Foggy are leaving the courthouse, they're like, how did he get off? And they're like, well, he's got connections to the Kingpin. So this is our first mention.
How did he get such a high-priced defense attorney?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because the attorney got him off.
Yes, that's right. So they've got Kingpin connections for some reason. Now, at this point, we learn that they know of the existence of some Kingpin of crime, but they don't know who it is.
Yeah, the film doesn't really do the legwork.
No,
unlike the TV series, which does it really well. We can't talk. It doesn't really do the legwork. We never really get a sense of menace or mystery about who or what the Kingpin is.
Well, okay, talk about lack of legwork. After this, Matt's pissed off. Guess what? He gets into his Daredevil costume and goes to Josie's bar and beats up a bunch of guys to get information. Wait a second, how did he become Daredevil? We watched the director's cut. We went from him being a kid that was blind, his dad dies, and we get none of him deciding to put on a suit or any of this stuff. Unlike, say, the two movies you got this summer, Fantastic Four, Superman, they didn't truncate the origin completely. They gave us a piece of an origin.
Yes.
And didn't give us the part about the suit.
Well, here we got a piece of an origin, I suppose, a 40-minute piece. Well, probably, I don't think it was 40 minutes, but it was very long.
Yeah.
And
it was still not long enough to cover why he decided to put on this Red Devil suit.
Bizarre.
So strange.
Why
Just cut
put
to
in-
suddenly he's zipping up his suit.
Why put in all that stuff about him as a kid and then don't
Agreed.
have anything about when he decided to
I
become
would say that
Daredevil?
I would rather have the other side. I would rather have him get the origin of the suit. We can dispense with the radioactive stuff in some other way, or what my dad told me when I was young. I had
Start the movie after the accident and leave all that earlier stuff out, right?
Yeah.
Because for Johnson, it's important that we rip off Batman
Yeah.
and have the Kingpin kill my dad.
Yes.
Fine. If I accept that has to happen, then get rid of the 20 minutes before that. Get rid of the in medias res. What is that even there for?
Yeah.
Maybe the in medias res was supposed to serve as the introduction to the fact that...
Well, I think it was supposed to make sure the audience wasn't bored for that first 20 minutes of a kid running around watching his dad boss.
I guess he figured that would substitute. Like, we know he's going to become Daredevil because we've seen him as Daredevil in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But also, I saw that just from the poster.
Yeah.
Why is it taken till 2025?
I bought a ticket and the ticket says Daredevil.
Why is it taken till 2025 for us to figure this out?
Yes.
With Superman and Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's on the ticket. Yeah. I thought that was odd too.
Yeah. Okay, so he goes to Josie's bar as Daredevil. I actually like this action scene, Jordan. I liked all the flipping around and stuff. At this scene, it looked good. Later in the movie, it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
But in this scene, when he's flipping around, jumping up on the fan, jumping on this thing, and they've got the CG, he's got this baton, which is the thing the Daredevil character uses, which is this, like, baton with a rope.
It's usually called a billy club.
Billy club with a rope that comes out of it and swinging around. They've seen it.
makes
It
this
looks really
for him?
great. I loved all this stuff.
Unfortunately, this film's CG heavy.
Yes.
And it seems like a lot of that extra budget that Fox gave the movie after Spider-Man came out was because they wanted Spider-Man-like sequences to be in this movie so that it would, quote-unquote, do as well as Spider-Man.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of the CG looks really crap.
Yes. 100%.
So crap.
Yeah.
And our stars are doing plainly impossible things for baseline humans to do.
Yeah.
Spider-Man can do it.
Yeah.
He can jump 10.
Oh, yeah.
He can jump 10 meters.
And then when Elektra started doing it later in the movie, I was like, oh, she's a ninja. I guess she can jump 10 feet. But then when Bullseye did, I was like, what are we doing here? This is just, it's gone into wuxia mode with no explanation.
That's right. Exactly. And that seems to have been stuff that had been tacked on by someone at Fox.
Right.
Saying, Spider-Man did good.
Right.
Daredevil needs to be doing Spider-Man shit.
Yes, right. Which, I guess, if you read the first issue, you might be confused into thinking that was the case.
100%. So I read in the LA Times in 2003, there was an article called A Daredevil Leap for Minor Superhero. One of the producers said, Spider-Man did us a big favour. Thanks to Peter Parker's popularity, that is of the Sam Raimi film, Daredevil's special effects budget was bolstered. With the renowned fight choreographer Chun Yan Guen from Matrix Reloaded and Charlie's Angels being brought in, and several shots added to the stunt sequences.
Okay.
Presumably the ones where they're like on the motorbike where they're doing backflips and doing impossible stupid kicks.
Right, okay.
It's very wuxia, and it does seem like the Matrix.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Matrix watching it, actually.
Yeah. More so here because Joey Pants is about to show up. Anyway,
but yes, this sequence, on the other hand, if there'd been more of this gritty stuff, there's some crazy shit where pool tables get set on fire.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got all these Dutch tilts and stuff. He's actually trying to make it look comic booky, and even the city, like Dick Tracy, he's trying to make it look comic booky.
This doesn't come back though. I mean, the rest of it's just so Matrix style for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Anyway, he actually kills him in the subway.
Okay, so Quesada falls onto the subway. He chases him out. Quesada falls on the subway tracks. It's just like the scene with Bullseye. Except Daredevil's like, there's a train coming. You're gonna die. And he dies.
Yeah.
He lets this man die.
What a shame.
On the tracks. Holy shit.
We've just mentioned how important it was in Frank Miller's comic that
is a
Daredevil
line
rescues-
that does not get crossed. It causes all of his conflict. And Netflix really leans into this, especially with the confrontations with like Daredevil or any other character where he's constantly pressured to kill people. He's, I'm not going to do it.
It's just... And here's, I think, a problem with this version of the character is... And it has to do when he first enters the bar, actually.
Yeah.
He's not gone there to collect evidence.
Yeah, he's there to track down Quesada and kill him.
Daredevil never does that.
No.
Daredevil's about preventing crime, I suppose. I guess that was his main raison d'etre for most of his run. And then with Miller, like, maybe collecting evidence, solving problems, grappling with his moral quandaries. Ben Affleck's Daredevil has just gone straight into this bar for revenge.
Yes. Now, here's another thing.
Revenge.
Yes.
Revenge on this guy for getting off.
Yes. Now,
he's telling us it's justice, but it's not justice when you take the law into your own hands.
Not only that, I mean, Quesada is a pig, but does the punishment fit the crime?
Hell no. You don't die for...
This guy deserve a death sentence?
You don't die for assault. That's not... There's no death sentence for assault.
It was just crazy to me. Okay.
Yeah.
It gets crazier.
And, there's a whole bit in Miller's run where... The thing that I think I remember best of all is right after Daredevil rescues Bullseye off the train tracks, Bullseye goes in for surgery.
Yeah.
Some doctors...
To fix the...
This is a
brain tumor.
Good bit.
Yeah.
Because the doctors do no harm. It doesn't matter that Bullseye is a piece of shit. Those doctors are going to do their best to save his life, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Daredevil as well has done what he does, which is to save Bullseye from the train tracks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got this cop who's a kind of antagonist, right? Or a foil. He says to Daredevil, "What the fuck? All you had to do was leave him there. You know he's going to kill again."
Yes.
And you know he's going to kill again, and then it's going to be your fault. Incidentally, this cop has not reserved his ire for the doctors. He's not angry that the doctors are trying to save Bullseye. He's angry at Daredevil because Daredevil is not being a... It's good.
Yeah.
Daredevil's... The cop is saying, your role is not to... What the fuck are you doing, guy in a costume?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? You know, these people are doing their job. I'm doing my job. What were you doing? Oh, it's quite sophisticated, and it's the most memorable thing about these comics we read this week, I think.
Yeah.
Me.
By the way, that cop is...
and this movie shits all over it because he leaves him on the train tracks. Sorry, make your point.
That cop is a recurring character in the Frank Miller series named Nick Manolis.
Right.
That is the cop that shows up here.
He is.
And we get Joey Pants playing Ben Urich. Joe Pantoliano shows up.
Joe Pantoliano, who I am so used to this. He's in The Matrix. What's his role? What's his character's name in The Matrix?
I can't remember.
Anyway, he's the bad guy in The Matrix, the bad human.
Yeah, he's also
I'm so used to Joe Pantoliano playing villains that I kept waiting.
Of course, if you watch The Goonies as a kid, he's imprinted on your brain as a 8-year-old child.
Why did I go to The Matrix when I could have gone?
You go to The Matrix. You could go to Memento. You could go to Sopranos. Memento. You could go to a billion things. He's in 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt, by the way.
Yes, the guy with 9 lives.
He's a legend, absolute legend.
I'm always happy to see him, but I'm so conditioned to seeing him as a villain. He even looks sketchy.
Oh, you know what? He's the chief of police in the Bad Boys movies, so he's a good guy in those as well.
Yeah. I haven't seen those movies. Yeah. But he's like wearing a beret backwards.
Yeah.
He's got freaking like some tinted glasses.
Yeah.
He's smoking.
Yeah.
He's like a journalist. He seems like a real piece of shit, but he's a goodie.
Yeah. Well, he works for The Post, which is a shit newspaper, I believe.
What have I got? In my notes I say he's also in Pluto Nash, which is on our cheat list.
It is?
And he's in an animated movie called Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
Huh. Okay.
Which I wrote down just because of that title.
Right. Okay, he shows up, he wants the scoop. The police are denying that there's any character called Daredevil running around town, but then there's a huge DD lights on fire.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
On the platform. Is it cool? It's stupid.
Look, yes, it is stupid.
What Daredevil?
Oh,
So hang on.
you're right. It's so stupid, but it's because Joe Pantoliano flicks his cigarette into it.
Okay, what if he hadn't flicked his cigarette? Then nobody would see the Daredevil mark.
Exactly.
The Daredevil left there. Also, how can anybody deny that Daredevil exists if he's leaving his calling card at all these crime scenes? If he leaves these fiery DD.
You're right, of course. I was just so enamored.
He just killed a man and he left a giant flaming DD at the scene. What is going on in this movie?
You're right, of course. It's so stupid.
It looks cool, but
I guess it's
look, I'm going to talk about stuff looking cool later on.
It's like the crow. Remember in The Crow when we had the big crow?
Sure.
The flaming crow?
That's all right. He wasn't trying to hide his existence from the cops or anything.
That's true. You're right, it's so stupid.
It is.
This movie's so long.
Yep.
Apparently the director's cut... We're not even... We're at like 50 minutes or something and nothing has happened.
Yeah. Okay, so after this big fight, he goes home. He gets a phone call from a girl named Heather breaking up with him because he's so mysterious and she's never seen his apartment.
Yep.
Has to be a nod to Heather Glenn.
Yes, 100%.
Now, he meets up with Foggy at a cafe the next day. Mm-hmm. Foggy talks about how he's sick of them doing pro bono cases. I don't know where this pro bono idea came from because in the comics, they are like some of the top lawyers in America.
Yep.
And they're making lots of money.
It must have been in...
But it's in this and it's in Netflix.
Yes.
That they're guys who do free work. So I don't know where exactly it emerged from.
They only... Is it in the comics that they only represent innocent people?
Maybe, but they're not. They don't do charity cases all the time.
I can't imagine Johnson invented it because nothing in this movie is invented except for everything rips off something. So it must have been from someone's run.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so when he gets into his tank that night, he hears he's like, oh, was it that night? He hears somebody being killed. And he gets a very clear vision, for us, the audience at least, of this woman dying across the floor. Later in the movie, we learn that this happened very far away in some other part of town.
Yeah.
It is very specific that maybe this is the only crime happening at that time in
the whole of New York City.
This is the one thing you could hear her voice over all the traffic and everything else.
It's because this is the film's story.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because Johnson's not really done a very good job of bringing all the points together. Mm-hmm. But this is what's supposed to pass for a plot. Which is the story of the murdered prostitute.
Yep.
That Coolio didn't murder.
Yep.
Who was killed by... Do we ever find out who killed her?
Yeah, it was Wesley.
Yeah, okay. I can see why that might be. Yes, okay, it was Wesley.
Because she had an appointment to meet him. She had written WOW and the date of her murder.
That's some very sketchy evidence. But,
of course it is.
There is no way that was enough to sustain a conviction.
And it was enough for Daredevil to probably kill him or whatever.
Yeah, but no, the cops... It was...
Oh, it is the cops.
It was Detective Manillo or whatever.
Manolis?
Manolis. It was him that went after him.
Yeah, right.
He said, I'm going to tell you about your plea bargain. I'm like, what plea bargain?
Yeah.
WOW on a notepad?
Yeah.
We'll get to this.
Yeah.
So this is the problem.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the story that sustains the movie.
Yeah.
Which is why Daredevil's having a vision of it in his isolation tank. It's supposed to be what has led him to the Kingpin.
Yeah.
By the end of the film.
Yeah.
And it just... Unfortunately, it's no good.
Yeah.
I can tell you why it's no good, because in the theatrical cut, it was entirely excised.
Right.
The central
That's right, because there's no Coolio scenes. Yeah.
The plot of the movie
was
not in the theatrical cut.
Right.
The theatrical cut had no plot.
Right. Wow. That explains maybe why I like this one a little bit more than when I watched it 20 years ago.
Everybody likes the director's cut more than the theatrical cut.
Okay.
Everyone. Then he wakes up, goes to court. Where are we at?
Right. So we're at the cafe. He's at the cafe.
Oh, sorry, the
we
cafe.
get some kind of banter between Jon Favreau.
They have an hour to get ready for court or something? Is that at this point? Yes, it is at this point. They're in the office. Oh, sorry, it doesn't even matter. I don't know where I'm bringing
They're in the cafe. It's important as this cafe because Elektra comes in.
Before they go into...
The Greek ninja...
This is great.
Played by Jennifer Garner walks in.
Oh my god, Jennifer Garner.
Yeah. Sure. But she walked in, I was like, is this a Greek ninja?
She's... Jennifer Garner, no, she's from Texas. Anyway, this is a good sequence. They were in the office before they went to cafe.
Oh, okay, right.
Not important.
Yes, because we do meet Karen Page.
Yes.
Who, in the final credits, is credited higher than Joey Pants. She's one higher. Why? She's got two scenes where she
had no scenes in the theatrical cut.
Wow.
She appeared on an answering machine, and that's it.
Wow. Well,
here she's got 2 scenes.
Because she's the one that... Oh, it makes sense, because she's the one that figures out that Wesley was the killer. Effectively. She unlocks the clue. Yeah, anyway, she's in 2 scenes, and she's got a higher rate. I don't understand. Anyway.
There's sort of talking to one another. Foggy and Daredevil are talking to one another across the table, and in this cafe. And then Ben Affleck sort of perks up.
Hang on. Question.
Yeah.
Does Jon Favreau... Does Foggy know that Matt Murdock has heightened senses? Because he does this shit all the time, where he's like, somebody's coming through the door in a minute, and I can smell her, and then she comes through. And Jon Favreau never questions this, like, wow, he never comments, like, those heightened senses of yours, never. But he does it all the time.
It's so, yeah, unfortunately. Here, I can't complain about this, because it's the same in the comic. Like, Foggy must be the dumbest person in the universe.
You know, yes, okay, but Frank Miller did come up with a function for Foggy in the comic. Foggy is the one that knows the laws. Yeah. Foggy is the one that knows about this clause or this ruling from 1965 or whatever.
I have no problem with Foggy the lawyer. I just mean everyone else in Matt's life knows that he's Daredevil.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Some random reporter, Ben Urich knows.
Ben Urich knows. Heather Glenn knew.
Yep.
Black Widow knew. She was his girlfriend before.
Karen Page knew. Because she's not in Miller's run here. She must have known at some point, though, because in Born Again, she's the one that kicks off that race because she's become a prostitute, like all of Frank Miller's.
I think she was a porn star, a heroin-addicted porn star or
whatever. This is Frank Miller woman.
Yes, well, I mean, Elektra dies. I mean, Elektra's a great, kind of cool character. I mean, we don't know much about her, but she dies so Daredevil can go berserk. That's her function.
Yeah, that's her function. But not before she poses on her bed in her underwear.
And she's always doing these high kicks, so her legs are like sprayed right out, and she's just covered just enough so that Comic Scott is like, okay.
I'd have been sad if I hadn't had a go at Frank Miller at some point.
Yeah.
There's a great bit, so he perks up and so Foggy, I think in the movie, Foggy kind of exists in an indeterminate state where he both does and doesn't know.
Right, okay.
Which, maybe a nod to the comic where Foggy really should know. I wouldn't have been surprised, like, if, like Aunt May, he knew all along and was just pretending.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, Ben Affleck perks up, and Foggy knows what he's perked up about.
Right.
Because he says something like, how far away?
Yeah, right.
And he goes, in about a minute. Mm-hmm. And then in about a minute, Jennifer Garner's breasts come in the door. So Daredevil absolutely has boob sense.
Yes. Yep, and he hits on her, she's not interested, she leaves, he stalks her.
He 100% stalks her.
Stalks her to a park and still is like, give me your name, give me your number.
He doesn't just creep on her, he actually assaults her by grabbing her repeatedly by the wrist when she's trying to walk away. Yeah. It's very creepy.
It's very creepy. And then they have a fight in this park where a bunch of kids are like sitting on swings and stuff.
Yeah, fight!
And it's a crazy fight where they're like on the seesaws and she's like flipping around. She's doing all this martial arts. Now,
it's very wuxia, so I'm not surprised.
This is really bad compared to the scene we had at Josie's Bar earlier. This is terrible.
Yeah.
They're outdoors and they're doing impossible flips and she's not really questioning that he's blind and able to do all this stuff.
Nope, she never questions it. She doesn't. To me, this I'm going to go out on a limb and say that bar scene was in the original footage.
Yeah, right.
And that this scene is what Fox's money paid for.
Oh, I think some of it was added because we do learn at the end of the scene that her father is Nicholas Nachios, who is a Greek billionaire.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they probably, who knows what the original script said, but this scene, 100% paid for by the extra budget because it's got like wire work.
Yeah. And it's just so cheesy.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's supposed to be cool, but it's awful. And it doesn't make sense.
It's supposed to be like a sexy meet cute, I guess.
Yes, it is supposed to be a sexy meet cute. In that Dark Horizons article I mentioned earlier, they interviewed Jennifer Garner, and she talks about how the fights that she did for this movie are different from what she was doing on Alias at the time. She said on Alias she would learn a fight scene on a Sunday and perform it on a Monday. Bam. Okay. One and done. She said for this, she trained for 6 weeks.
Right.
3 hours a day.
Right.
Every day of the week. her and Ben
Right.
to train for like this scene.
Oh my god, what a waste of time.
What
an absolute waste of time.
I know. It's such a shame. But someone at Fox was like, baby, we got to have this Spider-Man style action. I want you flipping off, or the Matrix, I want you flipping off the walls. I want you balancing on seesaws.
Yeah. Okay, so she goes off with her dad, who we learn is the billionaire. Now we're finally introduced to the Kingpin. Now, this movie does some coding, which it does a few times through music. We get some hip-hop music as we're introduced to
yes,
the
we
Kingpin. That was cheap.
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't like that. We also get House of Pain when we're introduced to our Bullseye.
I have less of a problem with that. Because that's an Irish...
Sure, but they're both just clumsy. It's just you're trying to...
I want to talk about... Yeah, look...
Anyway.
The hip-hop thing, there's some... I guess there's some coding... There's some problems with the coding there.
Yeah.
On the other hand... Irish metal?
Yeah.
Is it metal? House of Pain?
No, they were hip-hop.
Okay, hip-hop.
Band.
But it's pretty... Anyway.
Yeah. They were white hip-hop. They were Irish hip-hop. Yeah. They talk about being Irish in the song.
It's great. Okay, sorry. We'll talk about Bullseye when we get to him. But for now, I'll say, yes, I didn't like that much either. The music in this movie is really goofy.
Okay. So Michael Clarke Duncan is great, but this is a very cartoony Kingpin. He immediately kills two of his security guards just
for no reason.
For no reason.
No reason whatsoever.
Just murders them.
Someone has been talking to Ben Urich, maybe?
Yeah, okay.
And because he says, you used to cut out the tongues of the bodyguards in ancient times. Is more Miller-esque aheristicity, so I'm okay with it. Yeah. But, then he needlessly murders them. The only reason he does this is to make Kingpin a villain, I think. Johnson can't think of another way to make the Kingpin a villain than to have him psychopathically murder his own underlings in the very first scene we see him. It's another reason why, the writing in this film... It's the anti-Godfather. You think about the wedding scene in Godfather, where the guy comes in for a favor. Oh, I love that scene. And it's that wedding scene is 30 minutes long. Yes. It's really amazing because it feels like it's 2 minutes long. Yeah. But it's anti-subtlety is I guess what it is. Let's show how this is a bad guy. He's able to kill guys randomly. It's astonishing that this movie's so long and yet does so little legwork. That's right. Instead of building up to show that the Kingpin is a figure of menace, think about Batman '89 and how long we spend on Jack Nicholson's character before he even falls in the stuff. Yeah. Just how vain and how much he hates Jack Palance and all this stuff. Here we just get Michael Clarke Duncan roaring like a gorilla and throttling people. Yeah. So it's a very cartoony Kingpin. That was the side of it. Cartoony in the sense that it... In a bad way. In a bad way, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. By the way, his assistant is a guy named Wesley, played by Leland Orser, who was in Seven. He was the guy that killed the prostitute in Seven, if you remember that guy. Was. You know when I see him, though... He was in Alien Resurrection, and he was in Voyager. That's what I think of. Fascinating. Fascinating. He plays a killer hologram. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I always think of that when I see him now. Yeah. Okay, so Nicholas comes into Fisk's office. Nicholas is played by... he's also a Star Trek
yes, he is played by Erick Avari. Yeah, he was in Unification. At least. Right. Yeah, he's been in both TNG and DS9, yeah. Right. Fascinating. And he's in The Mummy. Everybody knows him from The Mummy. When you recognize this guy. So he wants to break off his dealings with the Kingpin. I guess he wants to go straight or something. Yeah, because of Ben Urich is, and the press is heating up around the idea of the mysterious Kingpin. Right. He wants out. Right. So Fisk, the Kingpin, decides he wants to kill him. Yeah. He's not about people leaving. Yeah. Now, he decides he needs to hire a certain assassin. I don't know why he can't just get a New York assassin or somebody else to do this job. Get me Bullseye, in Michael Clarke Duncan's incredibly deep voice. Yeah. Then we cut to... But why did we need Bullseye? Why did we need to go all the way to England to get this guy? He's literally in England. Yes.
Again, we're not doing any legwork.
No. He never says we need the world's great... Why does he need the best assassin in the world to get this guy or whatever?
Exactly. I mean, this guy's a billionaire. Why not... Give us a line
just
where...
poison him. Or offer him a drink and poison him.
Give us a line about how well...
You know what? He just strangled 2 of his own bodyguards
Strangle him
1
right
minute
there.
earlier. You strangle him in the office.
Strangle him in the office.
If you can get rid of bodies that easily.
Exactly. Why? That's what I thought. Why? This guy's told you he's leaving and he wants you to buy him out. He's alone in your office.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any bodyguards around.
No.
Just there.
Yep. Okay.
Game over, man.
All right.
I hated this, but give us a line. Oh, he's got too many guards.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire. He's learned too well from me.
Yeah.
Everything about him is protected. Only a superhuman assassin could get through. Give us a line.
Okay.
No, they don't bother.
Yeah, right. That would have made sense.
Instead, we cut to
Colin Farrell.
Oh my god. Okay, I mentioned I saw this. I don't remember when.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't see it in the cinema. I would have seen it on DVD, either in 03 or 04. The only thing I remembered about it in 2025 was Colin Farrell as Bullseye.
Yeah. I watched this with Ashton last night. He really enjoyed Bullseye in this movie a lot.
I love it.
Also, Ashton mentioned something which I wanted to bring back to the tank, which you mentioned about it being cool, edgy.
Yeah.
My 18-year-old son told me about something called aura farming.
Yes.
Which is when you do something...
My 16-year-old son told me about aura farming.
Which is when you do something cool, like strike a cool pose, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which, for no reason, which something was contrary to the plot or doesn't affect the plot for no reason except that it's cool. This is aura farming.
Yes.
So... There's a lot of aura farming from Bullseye, which is, I think, why Ashton was saying he was enjoying his performance.
Like a JoJo villain.
Yeah.
He's wearing what seems to be a crocodile skin cloak.
Yes. Yes.
Or trench coat.
Yeah. By the way, we never mentioned that Bullseye in the comics has one of the worst designed, stupidest costumes. It's like this black leotard with a mask, and it's got like a bullseye,
on his
like
head.
a white bullseye on the head and around the neck. There's like these white rings around the neck. It's just terrible
So
design.
stupid looking. Well, it's him and Stiltman, etc. Underwhelming Rose Gallery. In this, the film needed more of this.
Yeah.
It needed so much more of this craziness and less of sleeping in isolation tanks and chewing Percocet.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck's messy early 21st century hair.
I liked his hair. I thought his hair was fine.
No, man. Wouldn't you would comb your hair before you went to court.
Okay, but he has to pretend he's blind.
But it's so up. It's disheveled as though a hairstylist did it. It doesn't look like he slept on it.
Yeah.
He looks like he went to the salon.
Yeah.
Before a night out on clubbing. It really took me out of the movie. Anyway, I fucking love Colin Farrell in this. He did it apparently because he owed the studio a favour.
Right. I think he might be owed the studios lots of favors in the 2000s.
He did it on the cheap for New Regency, I think, because they'd done a film of his in the recently.
Okay.
So not only did he appear in this shit show, but he did it cheaply. But oh my god, he gives such a performance.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I know I shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just love it.
Yeah.
We were introduced to him. He's drinking a pint of beer, and he's throwing darts at a dartboard.
I think everybody is in a different movie. All of our actors, every actor's in a different movie. He is the only one that's there for the Dutch tilts. He's like a Batman villain in a Batman 66 movie.
Yeah.
I think that's why he fits in, maybe. He kind of... Whereas, Ben Affleck's so serious in this and
Jon
struggling.
Favreau is in a proto-Marvel movie. It's just all jokes.
Yeah.
Elektra, God only knows what movie she's in.
Yeah.
But, oh my god, you're so right. That's why I like it so much, because I want to be watching that movie.
Yes. And you want everybody to be on this kind of level.
Yes.
And the other thing that Ashton said at the end of this was that this movie does have a kind of cheesy charm to it, but it's this stuff. It's the actors that lean into it. It's Michael Clarke Duncan when he's going over the top.
That's another thing too. That's the other thing. To be fair, that's the other thing I remember, Michael Clarke Duncan.
Right.
Michael Clarke Duncan and Colin Farrell's Bullseye. Those are the only thing I remembered 20 years later.
Yeah.
I remember him putting paper clips in his guy's
he straight up kills a man with paper clips in his opening scene. And he takes off his beanie, and he's got a scar. Instead of the suit with the white bullseye marker on it, he's actually scarred himself, I guess.
It seems like he's shaved his head.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a cap.
No. I think he shaved his head.
I think Colin Farrell shaved his head and let someone paint a bullseye on his naked skull.
Yeah.
As he's running around in his crocodile skin trench coat with a belt buckle that has shuriken in it.
Yes. There's a crazy scene where he goes through the airport security, and he's got his jacket on, he's got his chains on, he's got all his metal on. He only takes out one pocket, out of his pocket he takes out one pen and a toothpick.
Yep.
And he goes through the detector with all metal and they let him through. I was like, this is
great. And then the guy is scanning him and detects a single paperclip in his mouth.
Yeah. What about the belt full of throwing stars?
It's so good. Because it's absurd and fun.
Yes, it is. Meanwhile, Matt and Foggy are investigating the murder of the prostitute, which Coolio is on trial for.
We've met Coolio, who unfortunately can't really act.
No, I only know him from this and Leprechaun in the Hood.
Leprechaun in the Hood. Yeah.
In which he appears in one shot, but he's like third credit.
Well, as you pointed out, in the theatrical cut, he was entirely removed.
So they go to this prostitute's apartment and they start digging around in there looking for possible clues. And then Matt figures out that she was killed in the apartment. So they've now contaminated this crime scene. And he's still feeling under the keyboards. He's still like dropping DNA all over the place.
This is so inappropriate. Although it's a little bit like what Daredevil does in the comic, actually.
Yes, but Daredevil would... I don't think he would contaminate a crime scene. I don't know. Okay, maybe he would.
Maybe not. But at least Foggy hangs a lampshade on it because he said, "Can we get out of here before we're on trial?"
Yes, right. You're right.
Because they break and enter.
Right.
But they find, as you pointed out, or as you mentioned earlier, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is able to feel the imprint in the wood.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch. It's something that only Daredevil could have done.
Yeah.
Of 2 numbers and 3 letters.
Yeah.
Which I think is 6-8 and...
W-O-W.
Well, it's M-O-M at this
M-O-M,
point.
sorry, yes. It's M-O-M.
Yeah, but you're right. And they take the notes, they leave. Okay, this is a crucial point of evidence on which the whole story of the movie hinges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, meanwhile, Bullseye is on a plane with a woman who won't stop talking, and he kills her with a peanut on a rebound shot that chokes her.
Yes, so great. And he's in economy.
Yes, and he's got earphones in, so he can't even hear her anyway.
But he's just evil. And
he is evil.
He gets out a playing card, he kind of folds it to make a ramp, and then he flicks a peanut, bounces it off the meal tray into her throat, and then she expires.
Yeah.
So funny. Then the stewardess comes and says, "Oh, she's sleeping. Do you want anything else?" He goes, "More peanuts."
Yeah.
He's so twitchy, and maybe he's playing him with a brain tumor. I don't know, but it's great. I'm here for it. It's one of those things where he's actually barely in the movie. Probably less than 10 minutes.
That's true.
Yet he's the most memorable thing about it.
That's true. Matt and Elektra meet, and they he says, "I want to take you up to the roof where I used to hang out when I was a kid." They go up there, it's just a rain, so he gets an image of her face, which is a thing that happens a couple times. It's romantic in this instance. But then he hears somebody talking about Daredevil in an alley or somewhere. We don't know how far away it is, but he's like, "I gotta go." And
there's a crime occurring.
There's a crime, but they're talking about Daredevil. These criminals are talking about it. And Daredevil comes in and he beats up this guy who was roughing up somebody in the alley. And as he's doing it, this kid in a corner has witnessed Daredevil beat up this guy, and this kid's like all scared. And Daredevil says, "Kid, I'm not the bad guy." Now, suddenly, an hour into the movie, Daredevil has a crisis of conscience.
It's longer than an hour. I think it's more than an hour, right? What's the time?
1:06.
Okay.
He says, "I'm not the bad guy." He's on the roof going, "I'm not the bad guy." Like, now he's suddenly questioning murdering people and all these things he's been doing.
Yeah. This is too far into the movie for this to occur.
Oh, yeah.
Without any groundwork.
It should have happened when he killed Quesada on the train tracks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Somebody should have witnessed that and been like, my God, you're a cold-blooded murderer. And he's like, What
Johnson has done is he's ticking boxes, right?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
He just has to meet these criteria in his adaptation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to spend any time on foreshadowing or consistency or putting this at an appropriate point in the narrative.
Yeah.
Just tick your box and move on.
Yeah. Matt is invited to a fancy dinner or ball at, this is maybe Nicholas Nachios's high-rise or something.
Nachos. I keep hearing nachos. The Americans say nachos.
In fact, there is a joke about nachos, and Jon Favreau makes a joke about how it sounds like a Mexican entree.
Mexican entree. Yes, it is a nachos event. Yeah. He's been invited because Elektra's seen fit to invite him.
Also, Ben Urich has been invited.
Yes, strange. He's like a muckraking...
Why would Nicholas Nachios invite Ben Urich to his high-paying event? Can Ben Urich afford a suit for this event? Well, he's wearing one, but where did he get the money for that?
Especially since Nachios himself wants to get out of crime because of reporting that Urich is doing... Yes,
and he's invited the Kingpin to his party.
What?
I thought he was cutting ties with this guy.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We just need this to happen. We need these people to be here in this scene so that the plot, what's laughably called the plot, can continue.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner comes out. She looks amazing.
Yeah. Matt confronts Kingpin here. Kingpin says, we only represent people that are innocent.
Well, it's Foggy that not that it's important, but Foggy's trying to drum up business.
Yeah.
There's a kind of like you wouldn't call it a subplot, a theme.
Yeah.
That Foggy is realistic. Doesn't like that they're paid in
basketballs and fish. Yeah.
And he's trying to drum up business, which, to be fair, was in the comic too, actually. Mm-hmm. So it's another box that they're checking.
Yeah.
And Daredevil straight up says to Fisk, "Sorry, I can't represent you. My partner's a little overzealous. We only represent people that are innocent." And Clarke Duncan delivers what is supposed to be one of the, I guess, important lines of the movie, which is that nobody's innocent.
Right.
Again, another thing
that doesn't land.
Another thing that doesn't go, that goes nowhere.
Well, because we haven't played up the Daredevil's guilty theme at all.
Exactly. We just do this thing and then move on.
Yeah. Okay, so meanwhile, Bullseye has arrived in town. He steals a motorbike from Frank Miller.
Yeah.
He kills Frank Miller with a pen and then steals his motorbike.
Yes.
And he's riding to the party, and Nachios figures out something. Oh, yeah, because basically Kingpin tells Nachios, he tells Nicholas, "I'm going to kill you."
Yes.
And Nicholas is like, "Shit, let's get out of here." He leaves with his bodyguards. They get into their limousine, and then they go off down the road, but Bullseye is chasing them on a motorbike. Daredevil shows up to fight, to protect. I guess he knows that Nicholas is under threat, and he comes to protect him.
Yeah, he always gets into his skin-tight leather suit very quickly.
Yes.
Which he absolutely does not wear under his clothes.
No, it's up in his warehouse.
How did he get back to his warehouse?
Don't know.
This isn't a leotard like it is in the comics. Like, presumably he's wearing a leotard in the comics, right? But here it's red leather.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It looks way better than the Netflix suit.
Yep.
But still, it's a bit BDSM.
By the way, there's scenes here and throughout the movie where sometimes, for example, Bullseye will throw a throwing star at him, and Daredevil is able to dodge because things appear in slow motion to him. Now, I understand that his senses are heightened, but why would bullets and things be in slow motion?
This is a big problem for me. I agree. So, this first bugged me when... Okay, so sound travels quite fast. 330 meters per second. That's a lot faster than Daredevil can throw a ninja star.
Yeah.
Bullseye can't throw a ninja star at the speed of sound. He just can't. When we're in the club, people are shooting pistols at Daredevil, and Daredevil is able to see the bullets coming towards him. Okay, pistols, maybe a little bit low powered. Maybe the bullets are not coming out at the speed of sound.
Okay.
Maybe Daredevil can hear the sound just before the bullet arrives.
Oh, okay.
Very implausible, but not impossible. Bullets usually travel faster than the speed of sound.
Right.
later in the movie, a high-powered rifle is involved. A sniper on a rooftop takes aim at Daredevil and Bullseye when they're having a fight. Daredevil is able to sense the bullet coming and pull Bullseye's hands into the path of the bullet so as to cripple him.
Right.
There is no way.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah. Okay. So he does dodge a throwing star in this scene, which freaks out Bullseye. He says, I missed. I never miss.
Never miss.
And in fact, this is his inspiration for the rest of the movie.
Great. Again, the only thing I remember.
Instead of being humiliated by Daredevil beating him and then saving his life, in this movie, his big thing is, he caused me to miss, which is something he never
I love it. That's another thing I always remember. Him with his feet up on Fisk's desk saying, I'll do him for free. He made me miss.
Right. So somehow he gets a hold of Daredevil's billy club and throws it at Nicholas. And Daredevil's not able to stop this.
No, because of it's happenstance. There's an explosion which disrupts his radar.
That's right.
/ sonar.
Yeah, of the motorbike. And that kills Nicholas, and
it goes into his heart. The billy club is not sharp. Somehow, I guess. Bullseye's that good.
Bullseye's that good.
Yep.
Elektra thinks that Daredevil killed her dad.
Yes. She doesn't know that Matt is Daredevil at this point.
That's right.
And she just saw him there.
Yeah.
Also, the billy club has a devil's head on it.
Right. Yes.
Incidentally, this is not just a billy club. This is the cane that Matt Murdock carries around.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is also...
And Ben Urich had seen it before, up close.
This needs to happen so that Ben Urich can identify Daredevil at the end of the movie.
Yes, but why? Why does he need to identify Daredevil? We don't get the whole plot line about him burying... Well, we do get the thing about him burying the story, but it's just a tick the box on the Frank Miller run of the comics. Yeah. It's not...
That's right.
It's not a threat to Daredevil. It's the last minute of the movie.
Exactly. I think it's... it's just ticking a box. Yeah.
Also, in this next scene...
It's ridiculous that Daredevil would carry around a cane that identifies him as Daredevil and Daredevil to use a billy club that will identify him as Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
That is so dumb.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, sorry.
Bullseye has a debrief with Kingpin about the mission.
He made me miss.
He made me miss. He wants his revenge, and also he says he wants a costume in the scene.
which he
never gets. Why is that line in the movie?
I guess it's just a funny line.
Maybe it's a bit like the line about yellow spandex in the first X-Men movie.
Yes,
like we have to have a nod to the comic book.
That's exactly what it is, yeah. That's exactly what it is. Because I was disappointed he didn't show up in the costume.
Yeah.
He's already in a costume. My God, the crocodile, whatever that's supposed to be, the alligator skin coat, which he's constantly throwing around himself in every scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
We have a funeral for Nicholas. Kingpin shows up. It's hilarious. He's got a huge smile on his face. He's he's gleeful that this man is dead. He's shown up at the funeral.
And he drops a rose on his casket.
That's right.
Get it? Get it? There is a rose in every single scene that Kingpin's in case you miss it.
Yeah.
Because the shadowy figure that killed Matt Murdock's dad drops a rose on him. Then, because you're stupid, no scene that the Kingpin appears in is missing a rose. He's sniffing them constantly. He's fiddling with them. He's got them in a lapel. He's dropping them everywhere. He's dropping them like dandruff. Get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Incidentally, My Immortal by Evanescence is playing in this scene, in this funeral scene.
I think they had 2 songs on the soundtrack. This is the movie that broke them.
Yes, it is.
Into the big time.
100%.
Yeah.
It was their big break.
Yeah. I remember those songs more than I remember this movie, really. Okay, after the funeral, Ben Urich approaches Matt Murdock and he says, listen, I had a source on my Kingpin story. It was the prostitute, Lisa Tazio.
Yeah.
So, I think this sends Matt to the cop at the trial that testified that her body was found outside, not in her apartment.
Yeah.
And Matt hurt his heart and it was steady. This is a plot line taken from the Frank Miller
Straight
run.
out of Frank Miller.
In Frank Miller, Daredevil lets a guy off. Matt Murdock is like, oh, this guy's innocent because he hears his heartbeat and it's steady. But actually the guy had a pacemaker.
Defends a guilty guy and gets him off.
Yeah. And then learns later that he had a pacemaker and he actually was guilty.
Another cool kind of bit about how taking the law into your own hands might be negative.
Yeah.
In this case, Daredevil doesn't just Matt Murdock doesn't just defend clients, he defends clients he specifically thinks are innocent, applying a standard separate from the standard lawyer's toolkit. Similar to what he does as Daredevil, but going out and fighting crime. Here it backfires on him. Miller's pretty clever with this stuff, I must say. Anyway, so here, none of that subtlety is present. No. It's just in service of what's we'll call the plot. Two people that seem to be telling the truth in the courtroom, and it baffles... It baffles Daredevil. It baffles Matt Murdock because one of them should be lying, Coolio or this. And Ben, who doesn't have the benefit or handicap of super lie detecting hearing, says, "Are you kidding? What, are you stupid? He's got a Mercedes.
Yeah,
that's 3 years of a salary of a policeman of his rank.
Yeah,
he's obviously lying.
Yeah."
And Devil's like, oh shit. Oh, should I have used my common sense instead of my super hearing?
Yeah. Well, he's not a super reporter like Ben Urich is, I guess. Ben Urich goes to the morgue, and the assistant coroner, is played by Kevin Smith.
Yes. Is it Kevin Smith, is it?
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Yeah, 100%. But he just shows him the billy club that killed Nicholas. And he's like, oh yeah, I figured it out. Okay, now, meanwhile, Elektra has a single montage scene, again to Evanescence, where she does super ninja training with Sais. Now, here's a huge question. When this movie started, as a reader of the comics, Jennifer Garner walks into the cafe. I'm like, okay, she's a trained ninja? ? Didn't know. And then she fights him in the park. I was like, well, maybe she just did karate at the YMCA. Don't know what her deal is. And now we get the scene where she is an incredible fighter, but is she just training? Does she have one training session because her dad died and that turns her into a ninja, or was she always this good? Or I don't know what to make of this. Yeah. She's tricked out the whole place, so it's got sandbags and stuff that she can fight.
Did she do all this in one day? Like a hotel ballroom or something. Who's letting these bags go? Because there seems to be a chandelier.
She's a billionaire.
Right,
so she can just do what she wants.
So there's guys up in the roof swinging the sandbags down when she wants them to.
Yeah, right. No, they're automated.
Right. Again, you're right. There's been no legwork done here.
I don't know who this woman is.
Elektra is just a ninja for no reason.
Yes, she's suddenly in. She didn't go in, train for 10 years like in the comics, and come back, and now she's a mercenary. She just suddenly, one night, is like, I got these weapons out, I'm going to get revenge on Daredevil.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so Daredevil goes...
supposed to accept it. Yeah.
Daredevil goes out, I guess, on patrol, or he knows that, because that cop told him that Kingpin kills whole families. He doesn't just kill one person. So he's like, Elektra's going to be hurt. He goes up on the roof, and Elektra finds him on a roof in New York. She's like, pal,
behind some laundry.
Yeah, she's
and
like...
pigeons.
I don't know how she found this guy. She beats him up, takes off his mask. It's Matt. It's a bit like Batman Returns when that amazing ballroom scene where...
Yep, so Johnson's ripping off Batman again. Incidentally, Ben Affleck wears contacts in all the scenes where he is not wearing the Daredevil mask. They are kind of milky blue contacts. Right. He couldn't see when he was wearing them.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a bit of method going on.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Never would have thought of him as a method actor.
Enforced method in this case,
yes,
I imagine.
Yes. Okay, but Bullseye shows up. How did he find these two hanging out on a roof in New York?
Why? He showed up at a pretty bad time because Daredevil just got stabbed through the shoulder.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she stabbed him, yeah. Okay, so they have it's Elektra versus Bullseye.
But she's no match for him.
She's no match, and he cuts her neck with the card, like in the comic.
The dialogue is from the comic.
He picks up her
magic.
Side. Yep.
Yeah, it's...
Picks up her side,
for my next trick, he stabs her. Yep. It's all straight out of the comic. Yep. Pretty cool.
Yep. And kills her.
She's dead. Daredevil watches her heart stop beating using his X-ray vision.
Yeah.
Or whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
His sonar.
But now we loop back to the start of the movie, where he was on the roof of the church clutching the cross.
He escapes from... the cops are coming.
Yeah.
I forget how the cops know they're there. Maybe.
Well, everybody's converging on this roof tonight for whatever reason. They all just know... Everybody knows in town knows
the place
where they are.
This roof. So he goes to the church. Why the church? Maybe it was next door. Maybe it was the next building over. He's holding onto the cross on top of the church. He falls down. Bam. Okay. But Bullseye's found him.
Yeah.
I guess it really was next door.
Yep.
They have a fight.
Crazy fight, wuxia fight, where
Wuxia.
Bullseye's jumping, like,
He shouldn't
up,
be able to do that.
and just, not jumping, floating up. He's, like, floating up. They have this fight in the pipe organ of the church, which sets Daredevil's hearing off, you know, because he's so sensitive.
Yeah, this is his weakness. Yeah.
But as you said, there's a sniper on the roof, a police sniper, that fires, and Daredevil manages to get Bullseye's hands in the way, which is supposed to cripple him, but in the final scene of the movie, it seems like he's still able to kill a fly with a needle, so...
Sequel bait.
Yeah. But, I mean, it didn't damage his hands bad enough, I guess. But Daredevil drops him off this roof.
Well, he's in traction in that scene, because Daredevil throws him off a roof.
Yeah.
I guess he forgot to float at that point.
Yes, that's right.
And so when we see him later in the movie, he's complete like in the comic.
Yeah.
But instead of being paralyzed, he's just sort of every bone's broken.
Yeah.
But he's still. We've got Colin Farrell doing some great bandage acting.
Yes.
We've just got his eyes under a bunch of bandages.
Yeah.
Kills a fly with a syringe and says, "Bullseye."
Yeah. So Daredevil goes to confront Kingpin. He's figured out the Kingpin is Fisk because Bullseye reveals.
Bullseye tells him.
Yeah.
Why not? He's a crazy person.
But then,
what if Bullseye hadn't told him?
Kingpin is worried that Daredevil's going to show up. Why would you worry about that?
He says
he doesn't know that his identity's been compromised.
He doesn't know. He just says that's what I'd do if I were him. That's all the explanation we get. So problems. Remember, this is what the whole plot of the movie's been leading up to.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff with Coolio, investigating the prostitute, the guy with his pacemaker, Ben Urich, our note, which you had to turn upside down in order to understand. Karen Page does that. All of it's been leading up to this confrontation with Kingpin. Because he's the guy that caused all of this stuff. Except none of it would have happened if Bullseye hadn't said, Fisk is Kingpin.
That's right.
The whole thing would have just fallen apart.
It would still be like, we don't know who he is.
So that's a pretty big problem when you need a character to just kind of blurt it out.
Oh, by the way, one other thing, which is not in the comic, but is in the comic. When Bullseye kills Elektra in the movie, he kisses her. He kisses her on the lips in the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. He stabbed her with a sigh. She's dying. He kisses her on the lips.
Might not have been in the script. It might have just been...
Well, this was what is in the subtext of the comic, which Frank Miller says, I can't believe they let me get away with that, with the phallic murder.
Phallic, yeah.
And here in the movie, they've, in a sense, maybe accidentally, Mark Steven Johnson didn't get it, or maybe Colin Farrell read the comics like, oh, I get what's going on here, and kissed her. That was an incredible
interesting touch.
moment, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so, and this is also when Wesley is getting arrested by Margolis. By the way,
incidentally, there's
did the Kingpin in the comic ever have an assistant named Wesley? Because in Netflix, his assistant's named Wesley, which maybe they pulled from this.
It can't be. I cannot believe
you know
it.
why?
Right.
Here's why I think it can be.
Okay.
Because in the Netflix Punisher series, they got the Jigsaw's identity name from Warzone.
Yeah, but Warzone rules. Okay, it's plausible.
It's possible. Or maybe there was a Wesley in the comic that I don't know about.
No, I think the Warzone example, yeah, I'm on board. So, the Jon Favreau calls up Ben Urich to say, I've got an in for you. I know who killed the prostitute.
Yeah.
He knows that because of an incredible series of coincidences.
Yeah.
That he just happened to have met Wesley and happened to have spotted his cufflinks that have WOW written on them. Then the prostitute who died happened to have written WOW as well.
Yes, and the date. I think it was a date she was supposed to be.
The date's important, yeah. But WOW, it could... Okay, this is pretty tenuous.
Yeah, of course.
This is the evidence with which Margolis went and confronted Wesley in a bar about. And Wesley, who admittedly was drunk, instead of just saying, piss off, said, I want my lawyer.
Right.
Okay, we needed more.
Yeah.
We needed Margolis to, do a Daredevil style, I've got a tape recorder in my cane gambit.
Yeah, right.
Or we needed Wesley to have fallen out with Kingpin more.
Yes.
He falls out with him a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just like Margolis a tiny bit strong arms Wesley, but neither of them go anywhere. He's just not done the work.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, because this movie has plenty of room for you to do the work. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Yeah. So Daredevil comes up to Kingpin's penthouse. Good fight here. I liked the way Michael Clarke Duncan was throwing around Daredevil.
Yeah, hell yeah.
This is what, to me, was you don't get this in the Netflix series. This is very comic book Daredevil, Kingpin, where he's like super strong, can smash a desk with his fist, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he can put on a nappy and fight off 6 guys.
Yes, exactly. I like
this is Ben Affleck as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's letting Clarke Duncan throw him around.
Wow. Okay. It's pretty good, and then Daredevil finally confronts him about, you killed the only two people I ever loved. Guess he doesn't care about Foggy. But that's his dad. And then Kingpin reveals, I was like a young hitman when I killed your dad, kind of thing.
He says it was business.
Business, yeah, whatever.
There's no justice, there's only business.
That's right.
But we see whose worldview triumphs because Daredevil not only kicks the shit out of him, but also refuses to kill him.
Yeah, it seemed there's a shot where it seems like he's going to kill him.
Yeah.
I thought he did. Based on what I'd seen the past 2 hours.
Right, well, he killed a guy on the train tracks.
Exactly, I was like, he killed him. Wow, okay. I was shocked that he was still killing people, but then it's revealed that he didn't actually kill the guy. But then my question is, why didn't he kill the guy? Because that one moment where that kid an hour earlier had said, you're scary, and he said, I'm not the bad guy.
I'm not the bad guy. So that's what he says. He says, I'm not the bad guy when he does it.
Okay,
Except
so is he going to turn himself in for Quesada's murder? Is that what that means? He's not a bad guy?
Yeah, exactly. Does it mean he's going to stop doing vigilantism and breaking and entering?
Yep.
Like he did? Or contaminating crime scenes?
Yep.
Obstruction of justice? All of these things are crimes. I guess you just break the laws you feel like breaking.
Yep.
The thing is, I feel like Daredevil always broke the laws he felt like breaking.
Yeah. And so his mask... Oh, by the way, Kingpin had pulled off his mask. It's kind of cool. And he's like, the blind lawyer.
Yeah.
Great little moment. But his mask is like lying in the water because he broke all like the sprinklers or whatever so that he could see Kingpin.
This happens 3 times in the film. It's established that if it's raining, he can see you.
Practically see, yeah, because of the raindrops.
Well, totally.
Bouncing off of, yeah.
He can totally see you.
Yeah.
Like, there's some pseudo-scientific explanation offered for it, whatever, it doesn't matter. It just means that if Daredevil can turn on the fire sprinklers in a building, then he can...
But why did he need to see Kingpin? Because you could already sense him there anyway. Why did he need to have a clear view of his face?
I hate to give this movie credit.
Oh! Explain it to me, Jordan.
His sense had been thrown off.
Oh, okay, right.
Kingpin had beat him up so hard.
I see.
He'd
beat the senses out of him.
He'd lost, and in fact, everything's distorted and warped.
Got it.
He can't see him doing things, which again, that happens at least twice to Daredevil in Miller's run.
Yeah, in one he loses his heightened senses, and in another they're amplified.
They get ramped up.
Yeah.
So malarkey going on. To be fair, it happens a couple of times for various reasons. Bullseye figures it out.
Yeah.
And starts ringing the church bells and stuff. He's like holding his ears. Shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, so he needs the rain to come down.
Right.
Which we've established as kind of a silver bullet for him being able to see because of that.
So now we get there is a shot here where we've got the mask in the water and all these floating rose petals.
And some blood.
It's a very, and blood. It's a very, almost a Frank Miller panel in its heightened symbolism and
it's very art cinema. Again, I wish I'd been watching more of that and less of Ben Affleck chewing.
But Ben Urich has figured out that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. Mm-hmm. He's written an article about it and then decides to delete it by pressing the backspace key on his keyboard the whole way through the document.
It's cause
this guy's a professional reporter.
It's cause
this is the only way he can delete.
Yeah, look, it's contrived. It's because the print and delete keys are next to one another, and there's a choice, a binary, right?
Yeah.
Do I print or I delete? And you can just see Mark Steven Johnson hugging himself with glee at the thought of this shot.
Yeah.
Oh. Is he going to delete or is he going to print? Except if you press the delete key, it doesn't do anything. Yeah. It wouldn't do anything. You'd have to hold it down for 10 minutes.
But then after he deletes, he goes down the street and he sees Daredevil in a hero pose on a rooftop across the street.
He's aura farming up there.
He's aura farming up there. And he says, go get him, Matt, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
There's a bit more VO about him prowling the rooftops.
Yes.
At night.
But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, okay. And he jumps off the roof and does all sorts of flippy stuff. Anyway.
He's Spider-Manning around.
He's Spider-Manning around.
You can see that some unnamed producer said, Spider-Man stuff, please. Yeah. I want Sam Raimi's Spider-Man to happen.
Okay. What's our trivia?
We've pretty much covered most of it throughout the course of the episode so far. I did promise I would come back to the suit.
Okay.
As I said, the Netflix Daredevil, whenever Daredevil is just wearing a bandana over his eyes, it's so grouse.
Yeah, and that was lifted from Man Without Fear. Actually, in the first, actually, it's in the first Elektra issue, because when they were in college and the hostage crisis is happening, he had bought her a red scarf.
Yes,
and he ties it around his face.
You're right, he does. I know. I made a note of that.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. Yeah. So the instant he put on that bulletproof suit, I just checked out.
Yeah,
because he looked so goofy. In the aforementioned LA Times article, they state that Fox asked the costume designers to steer away from the comic book aesthetic. Okay. Worrying that the audiences wouldn't accept Ben Affleck in a tight red leather suit with little horns. But the resulting costume design looked like a hip-hop interpretation of the Unabomber's FBI sketch. A man in a hooded sweatshirt and dark sunglasses. For the core audience, it rang false.
Here's what I'll say about the Netflix one, which it gets right, which this movie does not get right, and also the comics don't get right. Because Frank Miller was trying to do some kind of special crime comic, but Daredevil still had the letters DD on his chest, which is so dumb. And this movie has the DD, and they even play into it with the fire DD, and Netflix at least doesn't have that.
Well, I suppose you can only go so far. I mean, Miller didn't know.
No, exactly.
79.
There's no way Marvel would have let him take the DD off his chest. That is a branding icon. Yeah. No, of course. Of course.
Yeah. That's it. Well, but so they, Fox said, hey, let's not put him in a gimp suit.
Okay.
Let's not have a DD on the chest. Okay. But the thing they came up with was completely anodyne, it sounds like. Or was it? Or did it look like what the Netflix Daredevil's outfit looked like? Who knows? It was too early. Okay. And people balked, Right. Johnson said, we were afraid of his looking ridiculous. I mean, it's a guy in a devil suit. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to honour the fans. You have to treat it seriously with respect. If not, you're dead in the water. And he was a fan, whatever else, whatever his other sins, he's a serious Daredevil fan. Okay. We didn't mention that Michael Clarke Duncan was in Sin City.
Right, yes, of course.
So this is his second appearance. Nobody else. Colin Farrell is in The Batman, I suppose. I guess we'll cover that someday.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
In heavy prosthetics.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of people being fans, Ben Affleck. A lot of people involved in this film seem to have been fans.
I think Ben Affleck would have absorbed it from Kevin Smith, you'd think.
Well, it seems that Ben Affleck liked the comic books, or at least he was claiming he liked the comic books when he was making the movie. He said, it was a comic book that was my favourite comic book as a kid. Not as a little kid. It was kind of early adolescence into adolescence, 13 or 14, presumably when Frank Miller was writing. Yeah. When everybody got into Daredevil. Yeah. He says, quote, it was an enthusiasm that I shared with Kevin Smith.
Okay, there you go.
And, of course, he later wrote the foreword to the collected edition of Smith's Daredevil comics. This is before he starred as Daredevil, actually, in 2003. Okay. And as for Johnson, one of the producers, Gary Foster, said at least 6 years before 2003, Johnson came into his office and said, this is probably when the property was still with Fox, there's a property available, or it's going to be available, called Daredevil. It's my dream to make this movie. Foster, the producer, claimed that he'd never heard of Daredevil. He, Johnson, threw a bunch of comic books on my desk. Okay. It was like Brian Blessed throwing copies of Flash Gordon and saying, it's bloody me! Pointing at Voltan. Yeah. I read them and I immediately got attracted to the character. Okay. So again, it seems like we've had this a couple of times actually over the last couple of months. Yeah. Some super fan, 10 years old. Yeah. We had it with Mead. We've had it with Diary of a Teenage Girl. Yeah. And now we've had it with Daredevil. Yeah.
And, I mean, Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Going back a ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's it.
Okay. All right, let's do our votes. So, I read these comics probably 30 years ago. I didn't read them when they first came out.
Right.
And,
well, you were very little.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's exactly right. And I liked them fine, but I sold them. I got rid of them.
So this is the newsprint ones?
No, they were in trade paperbacks.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was more like 25 years ago. And then I was like, over the years, I kept hearing about it again. I was like, I gotta buy these again. And when I was in Toronto last month, I was like, I found them at a store. I was like, oh, maybe I should buy these again. I just kind of changed my mind. And then I read them this week. And I do really like these comics. I think they're really good. I appreciated them more after reading Paul's book, especially this week.
Is that the first time you'd read it this week?
Oh, yeah. And I think they're really good. Now, I think they have dated. That's what I will say about them. I think the DD on the chest, and there's certain things that he could not overcome. I think there's some clumsiness in the artwork, but overall, I think it's really good stuff, and I can see it now much more clearly for what it was at the time, and even now I was really impressed by how anti-cinematic it was, really, how the way he had designed the city, and his page design was really, he had this really interesting way of like splitting up there would very often be a long vertical panel on the left side that would just be a building. So he would like reduce his page space by doing that. There's all this kind of creative stuff happening.
Yeah, I should clarify, by anti-cinematic you mean trying to create a style that you can only do in comic books and is not a representation of something that you could do in another medium.
Yeah.
So that's a yay vote, I assume.
It's a yay.
I've been a big proponent over the last couple of years of considering works in and of their time. I think you can absolutely do that with these comics. It was for the period, what it's doing is pretty kind of groundbreaking, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Really groundbreaking. I would say it broke the ground, as I said before, that
paved the way for
build
more.
The Tower of Swamp Thing on top of it.
For the Dark Age of comics.
Yeah.
Well, I say Dark Age. I mean, for the 80s, for the breakthrough of comic books into mainstream.
Yes, because this success allowed Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the big contributors to comic books being taken seriously as kind of like a medium of expression.
Yeah.
And also, you can see it leading to all kinds of things.
Batman 89.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a sense, there's a chain of events that leads up to Batman 89 that starts with Daredevil.
Without which we wouldn't have modern superhero cinema.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had the great comic crash of the 90s.
Yeah.
So many. You can kind of you could make a case that Miller is the progenitor of much of 30 years.
100%. Yeah.
Which is a sobering and kind of discouraging thought.
Yeah.
But I think you can take the guy and his time, and you can look at it and enjoy it on its merits, and also for the impact it would later go on to have. And for those reasons, I'm going to give it a yay.
Okay. This movie.
This is a nay.
Yeah.
Even I don't really remember the theatrical version very well, but the director's cut, which people say is definitely better, is still a big mess.
Yeah. There's, as Ashton said, some cheesy charm to it. Bullseye is great.
Yeah.
Michael Clarke Duncan is great half the time. And the rest of it is clumsy, confused. It's just stumbling around.
Stumbling around is the word. You gotta have a
derivative.
Plot.
Yeah. It starts out kind of stylish, but then just gets muddy.
This is a long movie.
Yeah.
2 hours and 15 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And I often don't know why people are doing things or where they are.
Yeah.
As I said, the plot is supposed to be about unraveling the mystery of why Coolio was framed for murder, but Coolio's in the film for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it depends on all of these coincidences and contrivances.
Yes, completely.
And I feel like Johnson, as a fan, he's got a checklist.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of things that he wanted to put in the film and didn't really have a strong idea about how or why he needed to tick those boxes, and yet he did.
We're segging into adaptation.
Then let's do it.
Okay.
That's nay, obviously, for the film.
Yes, nay for the film, for me too, and it's nay for adaptation. Although, he has ticked the boxes, and there are moments in here that kind of felt like
we have
what I
lines
would
of
have
dialogue.
wanted. What I would have wanted from a Daredevil movie. But just naming John Romita and Everett and Quesada and all this stuff that's not enough. It's Daredevil's about the morality of Daredevil, especially that Frank Miller run is about the morality of why doesn't he kill, and him questioning what he's doing, questioning the extra legality of it.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting.
Yes, exactly.
But I guess for Johnson, what made it interesting was that he was 10 and felt a bit funny when Bullseye stabbed Elektra with something hard and pointy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the issue that affected everybody, and people still talk about it. Is like, I mean, for me, it's whenever Paul talks about that issue and how it affected him, it was exactly like reading the anatomy lesson.
That was unfair.
But you're right. He's only picked up the surface details of it. He hasn't read the issues around it. What about the one before or after that? Or all the questions about why does Bullseye want to kill Daredevil? Yeah. In this movie, it's because he made him miss, not because he saved his life. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's deep stuff going on there.
Well put. Yes, that's the takeaway, I think. A surface reading.
Yeah.
A fascination with the surface level images and impressions, and no engagement with anything below the surface.
Yeah.
Someone mail him a copy of Paul Young's book.
Yes.
Incidentally, if we're demonstrating a certain familiarity with Mr. Young, Dr. Young, it's because he is the brother of our friend and fellow podcaster, Tim.
He's on all our Fantastic Four episodes and is the dad of this podcast, I guess.
That's true.
Deconstructing Comics.
Which would make Paul the uncle.
That's right. Uncle Paul. And we will have him on the show eventually because there's other Daredevil stuff, Frank Miller stuff. I'd love to have him on to talk about 300 at some stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, so please like, rate, review, subscribe. Please contact us through the email address in the show notes, or you can send us a DM on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, or leave a comment on YouTube, or join our Reddit. And please join our Patreon at patreon.com/comicbookmovieoblivion. Maybe I would not have hesitated to buy those Daredevil comics if we were getting more money 4 weeks ago in Toronto.
Yeah, because Command needs more comics.
Yeah. Yeah. And, okay, next week we're going to keep rolling on this train. But this is the point. We're trying to get to Terrence Stamp and give him the fanfare he deserves.
Indeed so.
So we're going to be talking about Elektra, which came out very shortly after this. I'm curious about how that one got made. And we're going to read... I forgot to talk about the impact of Elektra on this film. Okay.
Why we got a theatrical cut and not the director's cut. But you're going to have to wait till next week to find out.
Very good. And we will read Frank Miller's return graphic novel, which is Elektra Lives Again. 80 pages. I haven't read it, but it's the period... For me, it's peak Frank Miller period, so I'm looking forward to finally sinking my teeth into it.
Okay.